One. Welcome everyone. I'm Anthony Hero, today joined by Pink Sparkle Puff for the Shut Your Mouth Lounge podcast. I have not done an intro in approximately 5 years, and as an opener, I suppose I'll say this small thing I've noticed that I found um entertaining, I suppose, which is Pink. Don't you find it funny that out of the three of us, the only guy who isn't represented by an animal ends up being the furry?
You know what? You're right. That is a funny coincidence.
Yeah, but so yes, videos. Well, I have shit. What's the game called again? Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. The thing that I didn't shut up about for like freaking 5 months again. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima Part 5, I think, is getting released this week. Yeah, it's either that or Part 6. I don't know. I don't keep count. I don't watch my own videos. I spend enough time with myself already, and that's like actually I spend more time than I should with myself already because I also edit my videos. So hey. But anyway, Ping, do you have anything coming out on your channel?
I do not. I did not get anything done this week.
All right. And then let's see what's coming out on the group channel, which is parts 5 and 6 of Smite.
Ooh.
And those are the last, well, technically speaking, those are the last of the bunch. There's another Smite video technically, but it's not a full video, so I don't count it.
Ah.
And yeah. Words. So Pink, what did you do this week?
A lot of work. So, did we do anything on Sunday?
I don't think so.
Okay, I don't think we did either, but that was my only day off until basically today. And what did I do on Sunday? I definitely played a little bit of Overwatch this week because they still got that event going on, and it goes on for the next 2 weeks, I think. So, not a lot of changes there. I did a couple different game modes they introduced, where one of them is when you kill an Omnic, it explodes into lava. So, that was fun. It's probably the hardest mode they introduced because it means you can't get close to people. And I noticed a lot of characters kind of create situations where they have to be close to the Omnic or pull the Omnics in. Like a lot of characters have very short range in like Brigitte and Winston who have short range weapons. And there's Roadhog, who I was playing with the other day, who hooks the Omnics in. So, and he's a one-shot kill machine for the most part. So he's basically hooking lava into himself,
Yeah,
and that doesn't work out so well.
he likes swimming in it.
Yes.
Cooked bacon.
Cooked bacon. I like the sound of that. I actually had bacon earlier. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah. And then there was a mode that I thought would be hard, but was actually rather easy. It was a critical hits only mode. So only critical hits would do damage to the Omnics, which critical hits are just headshots. And going into it, I thought it would be hard. It was actually rather easy. So it was very deceptive. I was very wrong about that mode, but it was very fun. We almost won it. We were doing very well until we didn't, and then we all fell over like dominoes, which was a sad time.
It happens.
Anyway, what else did I do this week? Not a lot, because after Sunday, I had 5 straight days of work. So that would be from Monday to Friday. And now it's Saturday, and then I go back to work tonight to do 4 straight days. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Living the life.
Yeah, living the life, living the dream. Getting paid money though, so that's good. Speaking of money, I actually got a new computer that's capable of running games just a little bit better than my old laptop. So I spent most of last night modding or attempting to mod 2K19 because I've had that in my Steam library for a couple years now. Because I had always intended on getting a PC one day, and now I have it. And now I'm slowly but surely learning how to mod. I've not done a lot thus far. I've just enabled all the managers and NPCs and whatnot to be playable, and I've added I think only one wrestler I've added thus far to the game because I'm still having issues with that, trying to figure out how all that works. Because I've imported a Diana Perazzo mod, and everything works except for the name. The name in the menus pops up as a dash bar, and in the in-game nameplates as like dummy /000 / assets dot etc stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So I need to figure out how to make changes to the names, but other than that, I seem to have a decent grasp on it, which is moderately impressive since I just started learning how to mod. What time is it now? 9:31 a.m. So just having learned a mod 9 hours and 31 minutes ago, I think I'm doing all right.
yeah,
Seems pretty straightforward.
I'd say so.
Let's see. Um. I don't remember if I mentioned it or not last week, but I did finally finish that game of Civ 6 playing as Portugal, where I went from thinking, yeah, they're perfectly balanced to, yeah, they might be overpowered. And, yeah, I'd say if the map is optimal for them, they can be very, very overpowered. In the final turns of the game, I was mere turns away from a culture victory. I actually had to give away a couple of my cities out of fear that I would obtain a culture victory before I could get the science victory, which is what I wanted because I had not gotten a science victory on the Switch yet. So I wanted to get all the victory types done so I could have a cool little Hall of Fame type. I don't know what that is. They're the Hall of Fame menus where it shows you what leaders you've won games with and what victories you've won. So I had won a victory with in every single type of situation except for science. So I really wanted to fill in that little blank spot and almost winning a culture victory by accident. I really didn't want that to happen because I wanted that blank spot filled. So I gave away a bunch of my cities, but won the space race on the next turn anyway. So it was irrelevant. I would have gotten the science victory anyway. So the only real change I did there was make my score type plummet at the very end, but that was irrelevant. So uh Portugal, very good Civ. I really liked it. They're gonna do very well on the coastal type maps and very poorly on the Terra type map. But everywhere else they should be pretty balanced. Like normal continents, they'll either be balanced or a little underpowered unless they have a lot of islands surrounding them, in which case they have potential to be overpowered. But it's a very unique Civ. I really like it. It's probably one of my favorites to date. Probably one of the most unique ones to date as well. Uh, Probably alongside Coupe, I would say they're probably two of the most unique Civs in the game, with very radically different play styles from the typical types. So yeah, a lot of fun. I took the natural next step and decided to play another game as Brazil this time, which it would have been funny had they not added Portugal to the game at all. So we would have had a Civ with Brazil, but not their founding country. That would have been that would have been kind of hilarious. But yeah, started playing as Brazil. Brazil is a very fun Civ. I've played them before. I've never finished a game with them, unfortunately. So I intend to right that wrong sometime in the coming weeks. But I'm having a lot of fun with it right now. All been going rather smoothly, so that's nice. Um, Outside of Civ, I did put in a little bit of time with Hades, just a little bit though. I didn't even clear any sectors or anything. I literally only went through like 2 stages of hell. Then I paused the game and figured, oh yeah, I'll get back to it, and never got back to it.
Yeah, that
But
happens.
yeah, still a very fun game. I now that I actually have a computer, I want to start recording that is I had intended to do that a couple months ago, but my laptop would not be able to support Hades and OBS and whatever else I had going on in the background without having some severe frame drops or my audio coming out like absolute crap. So that was actually one of the main factors in me getting a PC at all, or really not rushing into it, but pulling the trigger a little faster than I had intended. So, uh, probably going to attempt to record Hades this coming week and maybe get some episodes up this week, but we'll see. It all depends on how my schedule goes.
Yeah.
And last thing, I did a lot of Smite this week. Well, I say a lot, but it's not really a lot. But in comparison to what I've been doing this week, it is a lot.
Yeah.
So
You're also grinding out the furry battle ass.
yeah. So I had a lot of good games, and by a lot I mean two. I had two very good games with Amu Zenkob. I was absolutely astonished at how well I carried the team and had little to no issue at all managing the hives because I don't know. I've had games in the past where my hives would get knocked down the second I put them up. These past two games, it's like I would always have like 5 or 6 hives in my general location, so it would never really be an issue if one of them got knocked down. And I was just mauling people. It was a massacre, and all my ults, it's like I was able to knock people off really fast and pick up my stinger and get the ult back in like 10 seconds. It was crazy. I had never had so many good games with Amazon Cobb ever.
You're getting the hang of
So
him.
yeah, I finally got the hang of him. I finally learned how to play him after 3 years or so.
I mean,
So I was very excited about that. I was like, wow, I actually have a hunter who I'm doing relatively good at. That's insane. Because
I'd comment on Cobb overall, but I have no clue how to play Cobb because I refuse to play Cobb just because he's bees. So
right. And that's what I was surprised with because, most of the hunters are all in, oh, you gotta build your attack speed, build your power, build your et cetera, is the typical hunter builds. Amu Zenkob, he's kind of in that Denzaburo category where he's actually very ability focused. It's like, don't even bother going for the critical builds with him
well,
because
it
they're kind
depends.
of not.
It
Go
depends with
ahead.
each. It depends on with each hunter whether they're more ability or more attack speed focused.
This
Danzaburo.
is very true, but a lot of the hunters I played beforehand have been more attack speed focused because
Oh
I
yeah.
would play Neith, Artemis, and
Oh hey, W woke up.
what's oh excellent and Ramana. No, that's not his name. What is it?
Ravana, not Ravana. Rama.
Not Ravana.
Rama. Rama.
It's Rama. Yeah, I morphed those two together. Ravana, Rama. It's Ramana. Yes. But yeah, I played a lot of Rama in the past, and he has no abilities, like
Oh,
genuinely. So it was all attack speed and damage for that guy,
I see.
which is very fun, and it's a very radically different playstyle from Amazen Cobb. So it it is kind of wild to have such a good time with both of those hunters respectively, because I remember really enjoying Rom in the past, and now I really enjoy Amazen Cobb, and it's like, wow, these are two very, very different characters that don't play like even close to each other at all, but they're so very fun and probably my top two hunters at the moment of this podcast. So that's a big plus for Smite in that they're able to make so many unique gods
Yeah.
that have radically different playstyles from each other despite being in the same category and still being so fun to play. So yeah, I
Yeah.
had a very good time with Smite this week.
If you wanna look into more hunters just to see which other ones you'd like, I'd also recommend getting someone who can go either way. Because like most of the hunters that I like tend to be people who can build either attack speed or ability damage. Then again, sometimes you don't need to choose. But like,
Yeah.
it's a thing with like Uller is a really good one if you can get hang of the stance switching constantly, because Uller is an ability hunter, except when you don't want him to be. Because when you don't want him to be, he can be a freaking assassin just as well, you know. And
Yeah.
that's the magic of Uller. Danzaburo is in a similar space where I just for the shits and giggles. Hey W, we're discussing smite builds.
Okay.
The podcast has been going for like 20 minutes, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
Danzaburo.
literally just woke up.
Yeah, I figured. So where were we? Yeah, hunter builds. So for shits and giggles, I figured, hey, I've seen people have been building Uller recently to be a mixed bag where both his auto attacks and his abilities scale with the enemy's health. So what if I took that basic idea and put it on Danzaburo? Because Danzaburo is like most hunters are really easy to kill. Danzaburo is a burst hunter among them, so he either kills everyone or dies, and that's just his gimmick. So
Yep.
so if you can make the damage scale faster, then maybe the other people will die faster than you. And so far, I've had some pretty good matches with that build because, well, you can go either way. If you have an off day for auto attacks, then you can make up for the slack with the ability damage. And if you're slacking on hitting the abilities, then the auto attacks may hit.
Yeah.
I don't know who else I'd recommend because I played a lot of hunters, but like a lot of hunters do fall into the same archetype of like, here's neat, she has a snipe, she has an AoE, she has a big line attack, and that's it. I mean, even Uller falls into that when you think about it. The thing that sets him apart is that he can turn into Loki, pre-rework Loki.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times there's just general universal tools to set up an archetype, right? And then they
Yeah.
have one or two things that divides them.
So Pink, is that all you've done?
Yes, it is.
All right. W, is there anything coming out on your channel?
Nope.
Okay, that topic is done as well. So I guess we'll move on to what I've done this week, which is also Smite. It continues. So I got enough gems together to actually get the premium thing for the Furry Battle S. But I've actually not been able to grind games since then to actually get battle points because something happened with the freaking with the servers. I don't know what, but the time that, like, it may be daylight savings now that I think about it, but whatever. So the time when the dailies get reset was pushed back an hour, which is nice for me because obviously it means I can wake up later. At the same time, during that time, no one is playing online, so I either play against bots, which does nothing, or I can queue up for a game like 8 times, and on the 9th try, I will get matched up against Chinese people, which I don't have anything against Chinese people. The connection is just not good. Like, I mean, like never mind that those people are genuinely better than me as well. What the heck? And it's also kind of hard to follow other people's callouts when like they're not using the VGS system and typing in the chat in Chinese, and you don't know how to speak Chinese, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've had a couple fun games like that, and then I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna stop. Because like, once again, it's not even just a thing of like, oh, I had a laggy game, or I had a game where I couldn't really contribute because freaking the ELO decided that it wanted me to lose this week. But it was both of those at the same time, as well as that having been the 9th requeue because the game couldn't find a match for me. And this happened multiple times. So like as much as I wanna grind out the battle ass, I don't know how I'll do it because like the things are just not lining up right now. I guess
Yeah.
How long have you got left to grind it out the remaining stuff for the battle pass?
like 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. So there's still time.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not that much. I have like 15 more levels to go until I get the whole battle ass. So, it should be possible if I actually get matched with people sometime. Well, people who are closer to me so I can actually play, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah.
So then I also played all of Assassin's Creed Syndicate because I have like legitimately Smite and Syndicate are the only games I'm playing right now because I have nothing better to do, and that's literally it. I don't want to play Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I just have nothing better. That's a sad statement. I finished my grind in that because grinding has become my life. I guess I should really invest in some Pokemons. I hear the grinding in that exists. But yeah, I finished the grind, and then like I did it so well that I went to the first mission you get once you're able to walk through the actual world. The first mission there, I went max level, and people were level 1, and literally like So how the combat mechanic works is that if people are low enough level compared to you, then you just kill them on counters. Like you don't even need to actually like hit them. The game just does it for you. So that first mission got owned. And yeah, what can I say about Assassin's Creed Syndicate? I did play through the PlayStation exclusive DLC because that exists.
Is that the first time you played through that?
I don't think so because I remembered all of the missions. So I don't know because I don't think I started up once. I remember starting it up once, but I don't think I actually finished it. But at the same time, I already knew the answers to the questions because it was a murder mystery DLC because London and Arthur Conan Doyle and all that. And I mean it's probably the best part of the game, honestly, which is why they made it PlayStation exclusive, obviously. And well, depending on what you want out of the game, I guess the best part of the game is either the freaking Sherlock Holmes DLC or the Jack the Ripper DLC, and neither are part of the game, technically speaking. So and like there were just some like some big issues with that as well, in my opinion. Like they treated the reveal that the kid that's been following you around for the whole DLC is freaking Arthur Conan Doyle. They treated that like a big reveal. It's a twist that the kid named Artie, who is into freaking true crime, is obviously Arthur Conan Doyle. Ooh, big twist. Like
Who would have seen that coming?
Yeah. And the way they have it set up is that there's a guy who goes around to freaking the crime scenes and just writes notes down from the detectives and then makes those into penny dreadfuls, and Arthur is following him around actually. And turns out that guy is also a serial killer or something. I mean, I beat the DLC yesterday and I don't remember because I didn't care. But like freaking the way they have it set up is this, like there's this whole part of the last mission that takes, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes, where the game just continuously whacking over you over the head with very obvious things that you have already seen in the missions and going, hey, did you notice this? Did you notice that the guy who is obviously the killer is the killer? like with some of the missions that they had, there actually was some intrigue with the freaking with who the murderer was, because there's a mission where the most hated man in London is killed by 8 people, and the challenge is not finding out who killed him, but who was the one who actually did. Who caused the wound that actually murdered the guy instead of just causing some damage? And that was an interesting setup, in my opinion. And that mission was actually hard, kinda. But then all of the other ones were pretty obvious. And then the last mission is like, you go to Buckingham Palace, and the queen is like, oh, I hope nobody stole the scepter with the dove. And then at the end, the game is like, I wonder, did someone take the scepter with the dove? Who could have it been? Maybe it's the guy who disappeared along with Ari. Do you think he's holding Ari hostage for the scepter with the dove? Like, dude, how do you screw up a big reveal like that? Like, I'm not saying that the other missions were like these freaking shining bastions of quality and shit, but like they were better than that. And otherwise, there's not really much to say about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I've seen a lot more bugs recently. My favorite bug, by the way, I had it on recording because this has happened to me multiple times. But one of my favorite bugs in the PlayStation version of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the Xbox one didn't do this, or at least it didn't do this to me. I don't know if it does it.
Okay.
Is when you load the game up, and if for a split second you will see one of the player characters in the animus before you going to the actual splash screen, then you have entered rave mode. And in rave mode, Assassin's Creed Syndicate is Assassin's Creed Syndicate's textures are not loading properly, so constantly everyone and everybody is flickering in multiple colors.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. It depends on the context, the colors, because usually it's just white, because that's like they use a thing to simulate the animus loading people in because they were lazy. I guess, I don't know. And then freaking then there's other colors for other contexts, but like, yeah, like the character models just lose their textures. The world also sometimes lose the textures, but sometimes they do have them. That's the weird part. And then freaking like from what I remember, the skybox disappears, but only sometimes.
Cool.
And like, so, like it sometimes the game can decide between the eternal darkness encompassing everything slowly and just normal. Like there are
just every day.
Yeah, like on some frames the game looks like how it should, and then on the next frame, like the
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it is great. And there's just so many freaking, like, there's so many little design things that are grinding my gears so hard in that game. And it's not even talking about the writing, which, thank God, there's a freaking skip cutscene button for most of the cutscenes.
Okay.
I mean, the main characters, like, when I played through Assassin's Creed Syndicate the first time, I didn't notice the red writing because I didn't have as much experience, and obviously things like Ghost of Tsushima were out, so I couldn't really compare it to anything that was similar enough for me. But like,
Yeah.
But like the way the protagonists are introduced is like so the way the protagonists are introduced is they steal a train against their mentor's wishes. They get on a train and they start heading towards London. And Jacob says, "Where do you get it, Evie Fry?" And then Evie leans into the microphone and says, "The same place as you, Jacob Fry," because that is very natural freaking dialogue, y'all. I mean, I don't know
shit.
about you, but whenever I talk with my siblings, I call them by their full name.
Yeah.
Ah, Assassin's Creed, nothing can trigger me like Assassin's Creed. Shit. Then I also drew a bunch because I got a new drawing program that
All right.
Pink might have heard of. I guess I don't know. Pink, have you heard of Clip Studio Paint?
I have.
Yeah, that's the thing I got. And then let's see what there is. What things are of note that I did with it. Well, for example, because GIMP saves things in its own format, I couldn't actually continue the drawing I made last week, so I had to redraw it. That was
Oh, all right.
yeah, that was cool. Here's the end results. If I can freaking well, the end results of the character art anyway. I do have a version with the back with like concept for the background as well, but it looks bad.
Neat.
Yeah, I I want to point out the boots because I think they turn out really nice. Like I
I was
actually
about to say, did you make adjustments to the boots, or
yeah
do they just look?
I completely redesigned most of the armor and the outfit for Sonic, and the boots I
Okay,
like the chest piece and the squadrons are the same, but the leather gloves, well, they weren't leather for a beginning, but yeah, the gloves and the boots have been redesigned completely. And I'm kind of proud of that boot design because I feel like it has enough of that like medieval fantasy feel to it that
yeah,
trying to make him into or trying to freaking draw him as King Arthur should have. But at the same time, there's enough of the actual like normal. Um, does he wear boots? He doesn't. It's like freaking running shoes, whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, like I feel like I included enough elements of the normal shoes that it still looks Sonic.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Excalibur
You
turned
should
out,
have made the
yeah,
belt buckles bigger.
yeah.
That's a staple.
There was no space.
True,
There was no space on his feet for the belt buckles to be
true.
bigger. And I also accidentally did made freaking Excalibur tick, which hey, some people wouldn't complain. Look, there's a like looking up reference images for Excalibur. There's a disturbing amount of sexy Excalibur art, and I want to unsee that. Like
Okay.
sure he's one of my favorite characters, but not like that. Please no. Uh,
Oh, everyone's someone's favorite character like that, apparently.
yeah, apparently so. I mean, as a joke, I was going to suggest that there's probably some people freaking making like Dragon Quest slime porn, but I'm sure that exists.
Yeah. Well, hang on, hang on. Okay, it's funny you mentioned that because they pretty well pull a gag like that in one of those games. Uh, I believe it's Dragon Quest 8. Fuck, I can't remember. The one that was 3D on the PlayStation 2. I don't play Dragon Quest, so I guess I wouldn't fully know. But the games have a recurring thing that you can run into scantily dressed women in villages who will offer a service called Puff Puff. And in the overwhelming majority of games, it's assumed that it's prostitutes, right?
Yeah,
Well, Dragon Quest 8 lets you hire the prostitutes and take them up on the offer of Puff Puff. And they have the screen turn black and the dialogue gets very suggestive. And she's like, oh, feel my, feel my, squishies or whatever, right? And like a bunch of weirdly trying to make sexual dialogue when you're not allowed to use any R-rated dialogue.
yeah,
And then the screen finally cuts back to allowing you to see what's going on. It's not sex. The prostitute, or well, I guess that she's not a prostitute, but The woman has just got a slime in either hand, which she is squishing against the side of your character's head.
I mean, look, squishy things going against the head is still suggestive enough, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I also did this, which, hey, remember how I said that I don't know how to do that dot shading? Yeah, I figured it out with this program,
Ah,
so that's nice.
very.
You know, on one hand, I kind of like how the lines are freaking unrefined on this one because I did this completely freehand without using any freaking stabilization or whatever the hell they call it. But on the other, it does kind of look shitty. Anyway,
Good to me, but I'm probably not the guy who should be asking for their takes.
I mean, it's fine. It's just like, on one hand, I really like how things like the lightning turned out. Like, I think the lightning on the collar looks really nice, being all scratchy and shit. But I'm not sure
Yeah.
about the overall. Like, I don't know if the character art also being that scratchy is a good look. What do you think, Pink? You're the professional artist.
I think it looks good.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
And then did I do anything else? I don't think I did. So W,
Yo,
Dragon Ball
have you
Fighter
already
Z.
hit what? Yeah, you've got your PlayStation running, huh?
No,
Oh, okay.
I saw that you were playing it 9 a.m. my time, dude.
Yeah, correct. That is why I was late to the podcast. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to talk too much about it. I did end up picking it up though because I finally finished Red Dead Redemption 2, and that has been a big part of the focus for my week. Has been wrapping that game up. And near the end, that game really started to feel like it was a trial to finish. So, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna grab Dragon Ball Fighter Z while it's on sale," and I did. But yeah, I guess I should go ahead and get Dragon Ball Fighter Z out of the way first because I'll have way more to talk about with it than uh, Red Dead. Oh no, I'll have way less to talk about it with it than Red Dead. What am I saying? So yeah, Dragon Ball FighterZ, it's a bit of an interesting one. I haven't got to put too much time with it. Obviously, I did the stuff with you guys in those recordings,
Yeah,
but
most of it got eaten.
yeah, which to be fair, when you only play a fighting game like this against people, and you get no time to actually like practice against the AI, you don't get to really see the game, especially if you're playing against someone who's got more time in it than you do, because you just spend all your time trying to figure out what's going on, and you don't.
Yeah, whenever there was a free weekend of like fighting games and shit like that, I usually spend that whole day that we were supposed to record going against the AI.
Yeah, I never did. So every time we played a fighting game for the channel that I'd never played before, I got my ass stomped.
Yeah, and that's why playing
And the
against
whole
the AI
video
is
would just
good.
consist of me going panicking and going, "Oh, what buttons are good? How play game?"
uh, y'all didn't watch the freaking 2018 compilation that I put up for reevaluation.
Oh no, I watched the first probably 5 minutes of it and re-experienced the Jackie Bryant trauma all over again.
Yeah, I opened up all of the old wounds.
Yeah,
The biggest freaking like asshole move would have been if somehow I've been lying from the about the freaking Dragon Ball Fighter Z footage all these years, and I actually had footage of the Ginyu, the 2-hour Ginyu, and just put that in. I mean, I don't. I wish I did because it was funny, but like,
if only.
I miss the Genyu. I also miss like Pink figuring out how to do a really good mix-up loop with Kid Buu.
yeah.
Oh man.
I
So
And sorry for
No, go
cutting
ahead.
in, but like speaking of moments like that are lost to time because of freaking something screwing up on either my end or one of y'all's, or like just overall things not working out. I like when we recorded Red Dead 2 together. It wasn't a great recording, but there was at least one funny spot when I freaking threw Pink off the bridge.
We lost the Red Dead recording? I didn't remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we did. Like we did a whole big shootout, and then I stopped the recording. Sorry, went into the folder to check just to make sure it was fine, and it was corrupted as all shit. And you went good riddance.
Ha!
I
To be
distinctly
fair, with
remember
Red
that.
Dead Online, there's so little you can do. I doubt we did do that much.
Yeah, I mean it was just meeting up with each other, going to Pink, who spawned on the other side of the map for some reason, and then when we finally met up, it was on a bridge. We stole a train. I remember that because Rockstar wanted to boot me every 5 seconds because I dared to try to drive the train. But then
Ha!
we finally met up with Pink, and then the first thing I do is lasso him and then throw him off the bridge. But he didn't die. So then you had to go down the freaking mountainside and then get Pink back up on the bridge so we can leave.
Ha!
I also remember that you were petting a dog and I shot it just to be an asshole. And then you said that that was the worst thing I've done ever. And you're probably not wrong. So yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't recall all the recordings we've lost, honestly.
I can recall some big moments like that, but like I don't know how it works because I remember shit like these and the GNU stuff I could freaking explain in pretty good detail and like the moments that were great that we lost. At the same time, I don't remember what the hell we say on these podcasts. Like literally the second we freaking exit the call, and then I go and re-listen to them just so I can be like, yes, you should have worded that better, asshole. So yeah.
I mean, you kind of got to accept with these kind of things that sometimes you're just going to put things not quite into the words that they deserve.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we don't make these podcasts like with us having the ability to fucking activate dialogue dead eye so we can do everything perfect, you know?
But wouldn't it be cool though?
I mean, it'd be cool, but there's lots of things that are cool and thoroughly unrealistic.
Yeah. Like my entire existence. Hey.
What?
Shut up.
W got it, I think. Anyway. So, Fighter
All
Z.
right. Yeah, it's interesting so far. I've not been able to put near enough time into the game to like really get a feel for it. It does very much feel like, you know, it's trying to be Marvel but easier to understand. Which I don't know. Marvel 3 feels fairly easy to understand on its surface. That did occur to me the other day as I was playing some fighting game. That Marvel 3, like, for a lot of people, is the definitive example of fighting games being way too hard to get into. And for the most part, that's fair because the game goes way too quickly. But it dawned on me that there's so much of Marvel 3 that is just very obvious for people who are getting in who don't understand, like, the strategy fighting games. Because Marvel 3 features so much of, like, difference between the characters, you know? That
Yeah.
it's easier to tell, like, what sets characters apart.
Yeah. Like, both Power Rangers and Fighter Z tried to pick up Marvel's mantle. And by being even easier to understand, but Marvel isn't that hard to understand once you actually once you get used to the speed and you actually start being able to think through what's happening on screen with all the characters and the beams and shit, then you realize that the game is actually not all that complex, and then freaking making it even less complex to me just kind of deserve or freaking defeats the purpose of those games.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely some simplification going on with the ridiculous auto combo thing
Yeah,
in
that's the thing I'm talking about.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but it's part of the thing of it being Dragon Ball though, because Dragon Ball, you know, characters get sent flying and then they, you know, fly after the guy and beat the crap out of him in the air. It's just kind of Dragon Ball, you know. You get what you pay for.
I mean, just because I understand something, I don't have to like it. I understand slavery doesn't mean I freaking like that it exists. Like,
Fair enough.
There are other buttons than the punch auto combo. What I find really weird is it's got the punch auto combo like most fighting
but
games do
it's
nowadays,
not
or at
it's
least
not a
most
punch auto combo. It's an every button auto combo. It's just different auto combos. Well, no, that's wrong too. Every melee button has an auto combo on it, and then you also have a beam button.
Yes. But there are also combos you can do that aren't those auto combos.
I can't comment. I didn't play the game enough, or like, well, I don't have a recent enough experience with the game and with not enough of the characters. Like from what I remember, the game didn't really give me a good reason not to use the auto combos, which is why I did it by the time we actually freaking recorded, or by the time we actually got footage of it that could actually be uploaded to the YouTube. That's why I started using it by that point, because the game didn't really incentivize not doing auto combos aside from just like, hey, do these auto combos into this super that it doesn't automatically link into, but it's really just down forward RT. Hey, creative.
Like, okay, so I haven't put much time into the game at all, but I did put time into the combo trials because, of course, you got to get a feel for it. And yes, there are every character has several combos they can do just in the combo trials that are not auto combos, because the combo trials would be pretty fucking boring if they're all just, hey, mash squares 7 times.
Yeah.
So there is stuff you can do. I haven't fully gotten into the game enough where I can tell you. I can tell you that each of the characters has a advanced combo to do at the end of their trial, and for the most part, the combo at the end of their trial isn't that advanced. But it's really difficult to say whether that's because that is the extent of how combos go in the game, or if it's because Dragon Ball FighterZ is one of the only fighting games that actually tries to give you usable combos in its combo trials.
Well, from what I understand of the small amount of exposure I had to like pro gameplay and shit like that, and like people who actually play online discussing this bullshit. From what I understand, Fighter Z's combos are like he's like, what the hell is going on with my brain? Hinge less on freaking actually like doing combos and shit, and more on the resets and the flying bullshit. I forget the name of it. The auto flying stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Guilty Gear is also all about resets, and Street Fighter 4. Some games are just very Oki friendly, in which case combos are nice, but you almost always the focus wants to be on setting up Oki for the next thing, so you don't have to return to neutral.
Yeah.
And some games are just really friendly to that. What else do I want to say? I want to go ahead and say real quickly, it is downright fucking comical that, for one thing, when you first start up the game, there are 2 Gokus, right? Because you start the game with Super Saiyan Goku unlocked, and once you complete arcade mode on hard, you unlock Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, which is fucking stupid. I don't know if I've ever said that I think Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan is fucking stupid on recording yet, but most everything with Dragon Ball is stupid, and so is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. And then the first DLC pass, which I got because it comes with the Ultimate Edition, includes regular Goku, not Super Saiyan, which it's comical that you get a weaker version of Goku as DLC than the strong version of Goku, which you get in the base game. And then the DLC Pass 2 includes Kid Goku from, I think, GT?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
The Vim
excuse
button.
me. There's actually 2 Gokus in the first DLC Pass, because Vegito is also there. And then DLC Pass 2 features Gogeta. And then DLC Pass 3 includes
That's Goku. No? Is that the
no,
current one? Or is that Season Pass 4?
which Goku did you say?
Best Goku. Super Saiyan 4.
I think not Super Saiyan 4 because that's the monkey. That's the monkey Saiyan, I think.
Yeah, that's best Goku. I don't care.
Ha. Well, they have Super Baby which I guess is the closest you can get.
No, dude, freaking Super Saiyan 4 Goku got announced, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, he might be the final character. I don't think he's in the game though, because I'm looking at the roster screen right now, and it's not Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I know what Super Saiyan 4 Goku looks
Okay,
like.
let me check because I remember people
Oh,
me
you know what it might be?
Yeah.
GT Goku might be able to turn into Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
I don't know. I just remember that people started memeing on freaking on Super Saiyan 4 Goku, being like, y'all said my show was shit, so I came to your game and showed you that your game was shit.
It's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Ah, okay.
Okay, yeah, and then Season Pass 3 includes Goku Ultra Instinct. So, hang on. Every Season Pass of Dragon Ball FighterZ features 2 Gokus.
Nice. But hey, I mean, we still have some Gokus to go before the game is done, because we still have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, which
They can't.
No.
They can't do Super Saiyan 3 Goku. That'd be really stupid if they did, because Super Saiyan 1 Goku's big, flashy super is just him turning into Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
You know,
Even though Super Saiyan 4 Goku is way stronger, logically speaking.
You know, I wanted to say that the creator forgot, but I forgot the guy who made Dragon Ball's name, and my brain defaulted to, hey, manga creator, which ones do you know? Araki. Yeah, Araki forgot about Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I guess now. That's why he's not in JoJo Part 8.
But Toriyama actually did forget about lunch. So...
No, he did actually forget about Super Saiyan 3 Goku. That's also a thing. That's why I was going to joke about it, because it's real.
Yeah, I would too if I were him.
My favorite was when he released, before the Broly movie, he released a thing saying, hey, so there's a new Broly movie coming out. Some people walked up to me with like pictures of Broly, and I was like, who is this guy? And so that's how this came to be. Because Toriyama did design Broly, but he didn't write Broly, so he doesn't know who Broly is.
Hey, so yeah, that's the difference. Because I was wondering why there were 2 Brolys, and I was like, oh god, tell me this game wasn't lame enough to include regular non-Super Saiyan Broly.
Well, I mean, it was lame. It was lame enough to include non-Super Saiyan Broly. It's just Super Broly at the same time.
So they've got classic. I hate Goku. He cried when I was a baby, Broly, and it's got Toriyama's Broly. That makes sense.
It's got cool, as long as you don't actually pay attention to what he's saying, Broly, and it has lame lore Broly.
I actually heard that Dragon Ball Super handled Broly really well.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling him lore Broly. He's better in story, but I don't like the design as much.
As much as I love the fucking Incredible Hulk Broly, it is a bit stupid when you take it into gameplay, and it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, did they need him to be this big?
I mean, it's not the muscles, it's the glowing green eyes and hair that I like. It's the Susanoo that's coming out of him, the freaking Susanoo from Blaze Blue.
Oh man, I gotta say, like, as someone who I grew up with the Dragon Ball Z video games and some of the Dragon Ball anime. So for me, Dragon Ball is, I know a bit of original Dragon Ball. I know the 4 classic arcs of Dragon Ball Z, Saiyan, Frieza, Cell, Buu, and I know GT, and I'm like vaguely aware of the movies. But me coming into this game, like having missed out entirely on Super and Kai.
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
He forgot to mute himself.
Sorry.
I thought he was talking to me. I was like, I don't know what is up.
1
The
second.
sky.
So yeah, coming in to this, like not having been exposed to Super and Kai, I was like, why did Android 17 get his own character? That's a really weird pick. And I was like, who the fuck is Kefla? And I'm like, of course, vague. I'm aware of Beerus because I was aware of the like Battle of Gods thing, and of course, Goku Black, just because it's funny enough
you're
to say Goku Black.
yeah, you're aware of Beerus because I didn't shut up about him when I was watching Super. Because Beerus is the best Dragon Ball character. I don't care.
But I do, and I'm aware of Hit because Hit's the fucking coolest. Of
Yeah.
course. But then Jiren I look at and I'm like, so what makes Jiren special?
Okay, you want to know what makes Jiren special? What makes Jiren special is that he made me quit the series. Genuinely. So Jiren is the amalgamation of people memeing that all Dragon Ball is just another newer baddie showing up who is much stronger. But like Jiren is also at the same time also Jesus. Like he's morally better than Goku. He is more powerful than Goku. He is God. And then yeah, that was basically their fight. Like Goku shows up in his like Goku awakens his ultra instinct, and Beerus and freaking I forget his name, Viz, shit their pants because no other human has done that. And then Jiren is like, lol, nope, and then Goku nearly dies. Like Goku kicks him twice and then eats shit hard. And if you wanna know how to turn me off of a fight scene or like on an entire arc or in fact an entire series, there's no better way than just literally making a freaking perfect character and just putting them against the protagonist or the antagonist for that matter. Like I haven't tried that One Punch Man because like the idea of like literally the guy is so powerful he kills everyone in one punch is just, I don't know. That doesn't seem like an interesting setup to me.
For me, I'm just happy to hear that Goku lost a fucking fight.
I mean, that arc was good for that. That arc was good for that because freaking there was a lot of antics with Frieza because Goku was stupid enough to free Frieza from hell so that he can trust Frieza after killing him again for the 5th time, by the way. To freaking trust the entire universe to Frieza. And there were just a couple, like, there were good fights in that and all that. Goku got his shit pushed in a couple of times, and then sometimes he got the upper hand, or he got help from someone from his team because it was a team fight. And like, that was nice. I liked it. It wasn't just Goku's show. It was, hey, Goku messed up and got like 12 other universes nearly deleted, and now everyone's fighting to keep their universe alive. So weird team ups. Like and the androids came back to fight. Krillin fought. Freaking Roshi got out of his ass, or off from his. Yeah, Roshi got out of his ass.
No, he got out of his ass is correct too.
I suppose he stopped picking his asshole.
Well, he's picking himself somehow.
Yeah. And then like there were good moments between the new characters introduced from the different universes. Like Hit was introduced there, and that was a good fight, and that was a very close fight. And I think no, that one was just Goku going, hey, yeah, I can whatever you can do, I can do better, and just broke time. Because why not? He's Goku.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, the other part, like, there was another part with Hit and Goku that was actually that was a lot better because it was a whole episode of people trying to keep Hit from killing Goku, and trying to find out who put an assassination thing on Goku, and then Goku just turns around on the end, looks at Hit, waves at him, and goes, "Oh yeah, I hired him."
That is totally on brand for Goku.
Yeah, like that's the type of stupid like freaking. Like that's the kind of stupid I just want to fight people Goku that I like. But when he actually is fighting people and he just pulls freaking power ups out of his ass, and then like Jiren, the entirety of Jiren happens. Like
yeah,
like it puts my hype levels way down, because it's not a thing of, is Goku gonna get help, or is whoever is fighting this on this week's episode getting help? Because there were in the tournament of Power Arc, which is where I quit. In the tournament of Power Arc, everyone got at least a match, even if their showing wasn't great. Everyone aside from Boo got a match, because Boo fell asleep and they didn't wake him up. I'm not joking. But like Vegeta had, yeah. You could have,
I just said also on brand.
yeah. But like
I'm kind of fine with Boo doing that shit, because Boo did get his showing, you know.
yeah, and like it was just nice to see how like how some characters fought alternate universe versions of themselves, and how those things shaked out, and which characters needed help from who, and who ended up helping. Because like there was shit like one time Frieza saved Goku's life. It was with an ulterior motive, but he did. And so, you know, that was a weird setup, but it still played into their characters, and it still made sense because they are fighting to stay alive. And freaking Vegeta got friendly with an alternate universe Saiyan that's basically him but younger. That was interesting.
More Saiyans?
Yes, there are alternate universe Saiyans where they exist still, and there's female Broly, who wasn't really interesting because neither of that. There's female Broly, but female Broly is actually a fusion dance of two separate female Saiyans, and she wasn't as that's Kefla. I think.
She's an alternate universe female Broly. Okay.
Well, no, she's alternate universe fusion dance Broly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
she does not look it. She looks quite tiny.
Yeah, I didn't like either of the people that Kefla is formed from. I didn't like Kefla's like character when they were one, so I didn't really care. Kefla. But yeah,
I'm just happy that Toriyama remembered that women exist.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah.
And like I keep saying it, but there were some interesting things that happened in that. But like, it just that arc to me dragged on already. With how much of like by the end it was just Goku, because enough people got animated that it was just Goku and like I don't know 500 people. And it just really dragged on with the whole thing of like, oh hey, here's this character, Goku powers up and beats them, or Goku tries to power up but it doesn't work, and then hey, here's Jiren. Goku is going to be fighting Jiren for the next 30 years. Or at least it felt like it.
Yeah.
Because like the thing is, I watched the series when it was coming out like that weekly. I freaking watched another episode of Goku and Jiren measuring dicks. And it was not fun.
I mean, you gotta know when you're going in on those sorts of things that there's going to be a lot of time where it's just like doing goddamn nothing, because that's anime, you know?
But yeah, I know, but like sometimes anime has fun with the filler stuff, even if not constantly, but sometimes some fun filler stuff comes out of it, because like what's it called? Super had the thing that was pretty much just filler, where Goku and Vegeta went to Mars because Trunks and Gotenks stole a space car, and then they fought aliens that were shapeshifters, and the only way to make them not shapeshift into you and eat you is by sucking on a pacifier, and Vegeta had to fight the alien sucking on a pacifier. Like that's a funny setup and all that, and it was a good filler episode. I think it was actually like 2 or 3. Like that was a good filler arc. It didn't really add anything to the story overall, but it was enjoyable. Or like to compliment another show that I don't like, freaking Boruto. Boruto used like technically all of the Boruto anime is not filler because it started earlier than the manga and it's canon. So technically it's not filler, but it feels like it. Like the entire show feels like it's filler. But with some of it's even like, but there's still some parts that are like obviously big arcs, or like leading up to a big arc, and then there's sometimes breaks that they take which would be filler otherwise. And even in that, like there's an episode where Naruto takes his daughter out shopping because he wants to get closer with his kids, and that actually had some good character development in that. Like it was one of the nicer episodes of the whole series, and it was filler. So
Naruto can't be responsible in the stuff that's actually important.
yeah. Anyway, where were we before I just went on a tangent?
I was saying that I don't recognize the characters from Super.
Yeah.
With that, like me not even like vaguely knowing most of these characters, like I did not know Hit was an actual Hitman until you just said. But like, yeah, I gotta say, it is really cute that they had the idea. As obvious as it should have been, it was really cute, the idea of a Dragon Ball character who doesn't like do key shit or any of that. He just hits you real fucking hard.
But not only really hard, but really fast. His power is that he like his power is literally that he goes so slow that he's going so fast that time breaks. His hit superpower is a stack overflow. uh Hit is making Gandhi aggressive in Civ.
Oh no.
Uh
That finally explains it.
yeah.
What is there anything else? Yeah, I don't have that much else to say about it because I haven't been able to put that much time in with the game. So, yeah, all right. What else? Yeah, other than that, I don't think I got to put any time in with any games on PC outside of like the session of Terraria I got to do with you guys. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay, there we go. So, did I watch a movie or TV show? I did watch Kung Pao Enter the Fist last night, which was it's the dubbed kung fu movie that Mike and Brian always love to crack jokes at each other about.
Let me check that.
Like,
Maybe that may be the one I watched as well.
It's it's a movie, all right.
You know, no, I have seen parts of this, but not the whole movie.
There are a couple funny parts, but by and large, I would say that the movie is just deliberately really dumb, which is fine because it's a comedy, but I think it goes overboard. I'm sure the movie would be a lot funnier if you're high.
I mean,
Though
that's out of movies.
That doesn't accurately explain why Mike's into it, because Mike doesn't smoke pot, but whatever.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, that's true. He could be, on the down low. There are two gags in the movie that were really memorable to me, and I haven't been able to really remember any others. One being, probably one of my favorite jokes of all time, admittedly, in the movie, which is when they introduced a shitty kung fu character, and the kung fu master says, "This is Wimp Lo. We trained him wrong on purpose as a joke."
Yeah, that's a quote I see a lot.
I'm very fond of that because it's just like, why? Why would you do that?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, because it is funny, the idea of putting in all that work just to train a guy wrong in kung fu, just to fucking laugh at him, but still, the other line that sticks with me is when the villain they're having a big dinner. The hero and the villain and everybody else in town is having a big dinner, and the villain's supposed to be using this moment to have his big villainous speech about his ideals or whatever. But they dub it over so that instead he starts off the dinner by saying, "I like to start off every dinner with a joke. I've got one here. What do you get when you cross a bungee cord with an owl?
What?
My ass.
I
And
see.
that's it? And the comedic beat, the punchline of the joke to me isn't even him responding with my ass, which it obviously is a great punchline because it makes no sense. The kicker is that I did not do that. Like, I was not awkwardly thinking of the fucking punchline. No, the beat between the setup and the punchline takes that long in the goddamn movie.
I see.
Like 2 or 3 whole seconds pass between the setup and the punchline, and it's just awkwardly everyone kind of looking around like, what is the different? What do you get when you cross a bungee cord with an owl? And so much setup that the fact that the punchline is like nonsense just makes it better, you know?
Yeah.
And it's from a character who is supposed to be the big intimidating villain and who murdered the main character's family. So that's that. Congrats. That's the line that he gets reintroduced to. Yeah. Other than that, the movie was a bit too stupid for my liking. I guess maybe I didn't get it. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
but I think I'm pretty comfortable not getting it. So with that out of the way, yeah, Red Dead 2. I finished it after so long. I'm hoping that I can calm down some degree of schoolwork and get my sleep schedule reorganized in addition to that, because holy fuck, I need it. Okay, so Red Dead 2. So okay. So I gotta reiterate on something, which is too many irons in the fire. Too many plates you're spinning on your fingers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked over Red Dead 2 after I finished it, and Addy, how many villains does that game have?
During like around the middle of the game, I stopped counting the people who are supposed to be villains and just looked at whenever I thought of villains, I just looked at Dutch and Micah, dude. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Because Dutch and Micah are the only villains who get any real screen time. But like, as chapter 6 hits, the game is just like it starts getting into Game of Thrones final season territory where it's like, holy fuck, we set up too many plot lines. We need to start wrapping this shit up. And like, it's just like, okay, Leviticus Cornwall, okay, that's done. Colm Driscoll, okay, that's done. Agent Milton, okay, that's done. And it just keeps trying to slam on through. And they also try to go back and tie up the Braithwaites and Gray's thing. But like, holy fuck, how many villains? Like, okay, over the course of the game, you get Micah, you get Dutch, you get Leviticus Cornwall, you get Colm O'Driscoll, you get Agent Milton and Agent Ross, you get Sheriff Lee Gray, you get Catherine Braithwaite, you get Angelo Bronte, you get Alberto Fassar, you get Colonel Henry Favors. And it's like, holy fuck, how many
11.
villains does one
That's
game
11.
need?
Yeah. There's enough.
Yeah.
There's enough. There is officially enough villains in Red Dead 2 to play soccer, to form a soccer team.
Yeah, that would be an interesting soccer team, especially considering like half the fucking team is geriatric. I mean, okay, so having arc villains is more understandable, right?
Yeah.
Like, having some broad villains and some arc villains is fine, but you have to draw the line somewhere for the amount of broad villains. Because, like, the Braithwaites and Greys aren't too bad because you're really only dealing with them in Chapter 3. Angelo Bronte isn't too bad because you're really only dealing with him in Chapter 4. Colonel Henry Favors isn't really that bad because you're only dealing with him in Chapter 6. The problem is that for the broader villains of the entirety of Arthur's run in Red Dead 2, they still have Dutch and Micah and Leviticus Cornwall and Agent Milton and Agent Ross and Colm O'Driscoll. And I think Colm O'Driscoll is the really unnecessary one, because like Colm O'Driscoll really should have just been the villain for Chapter 2. Honestly, you know?
Yeah.
The trouble is they had to stretch Colm over the course of the game because Colm is, for all intents and purposes, Sadie's real nemesis. Even though they don't meet even though they really never meet, honestly. And, like, even then, I have to reiterate, Chapter 4 really could have just been minced into Chapter 3. The whole Angelo Bronte business just is like, why are we getting hung up on this? I guess that's supposed to show that Dutch is losing his mind because Dutch is getting obsessed with revenge with someone who didn't really do anything to him. But still, like, the Angelo Bronte business, like, gets a chapter devoted to itself. Well, like, there's only really 2 or 3 scenes you get with Bronte, and by all means, Bronte's a douchebag, but he never actually does anything to the players outside of the setting you up with the tram heist, and you don't know how much of that was him setting you up and how much that was just him not, like, paying that much attention. I will say, I do enjoy the way a lot of the arcs are wrapped up in Chapter 6. Colm O'Driscoll goes out in a really cute way, because you expect it to be like a final shootout between the gangs, and no, it's not. Colm actually goes out in the way most gangsters did at the end of the Wild West. Hanged by the government. Which, oh yeah, if it hasn't been said, obviously Red Dead 2 spoilers going forward, which I don't know how many people were really hung up on the fate of Colm O'Driscoll, the character that gets 2 goddamn scenes in the whole game. But I did think it was a really cute moment when the camera pans in on Colm O'Driscoll's face, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get out of this like I have every other hanging." And then he looks down the audience and he sees Dutch and Sadie, and his eyes go wide, like, "Oh shit!" Then he looks up at the rooftops and he sees that Arthur has replaced his sniper, and Arthur even waves at him, which cracked me up. And Colm just goes, "Oh fuck!" That was a really cute moment. What else did I want to say? The final chapter is full. The final Arthur chapter, excuse me. Chapter 6 is full of all kinds of really cute moments for Arthur. Well, not just for Arthur, I guess for the whole gang. Okay, Addie, I want to hear. My favorite mission in the whole game was probably the battle at the oil refinery. Would you say there are really any competitors to that in terms of like it feeling like Arthur's finest hour in a way, you know?
I don't know, because by the 6th chapter, I was mostly checked out of the story part of the game, because that all like when I tried paying attention, the game's dialogue just kind of became Micah, Dust, Dutch, freaking Trust, Faith, and then that just wore me down, and I played through the second half of the game basically on autoplay. Because
Micah and Dutch don't actually have that many scenes in Chapter 6, which surprised me.
yeah, by that point they go away, and I was happy that they went away, but still, like, I was like, I don't know. I tried. Whenever I play games, or like whenever I play games for the first time, I guess I try to at least freaking pay attention to the story and shit. But like, there's only so much I can take, and if you mess up the beginning that hard, then by the end, I might not freaking like, even if you fix it by the end, it might not be enough for me. And so, like, Dutch and Michael disappear by the end of the game, but when Dutch and Michael were not there, I was happy that they're gone, and like freaking like getting angry. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I got angry in preparation for them to return, because I was just like, no, the game is not letting me have air. The game has not let me have air from freaking Dutch and Michael's bullshit. It's not letting me freaking take a break.
To be fair, Dutch returns for like all of 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of surprised by that. He shows up, shoots Micah, leaves. Which, I mean, honestly, that's a perfectly understandable interaction to have.
Yeah, I remember being like, oh, it's like because of playing through Red Dead 2. Well, obviously I haven't played Red Dead 1, so I don't know. Well, I didn't know that Dutch played a big part. So I was like, so playing through the game, I was just like, you know, I get what they're going for. Like, you know, it's kind of Dutch freaking what's the word? I want to say remedy, but not. It's not. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Penance.
Maybe, but yeah, like it's Dutch doing a good thing to redeem himself. That's the word. Redeem himself.
You mean the title of the game, Redemption?
Yes, but to me, the only way to redeem Dutch would have been to shoot him there. I don't want to wait a game. I don't want to get the 360 out and then freaking like hunt down a copy of Red Dead 1. I want to do it now.
For what it's worth, you don't shoot Dutch in Redemption 1.
I'd say that that's a missed opportunity, but then I don't know what character Dutch was in Red Dead 1. I only have a biased view of him because of whatever Red Dead 2 did to him. So
he's really sad. Redemption 1. So yeah, I'll talk about the epilogue in just a second, but yeah, I should go ahead and say with all the villains they juggle, Rockstar, it seems to me, does their best work when they're handling villains they're just completely and thoroughly unsympathetic. And where Rockstar near always bungles is when they try to make sympathetic villains, because they're never very good at it. Which isn't a surprise, because the Rockstar protagonists are the sympathetic villains.
Yep.
I don't know, because I like out of the Rockstar games that I have played, I struggle to think of any sympathetic ones. Honestly, like others, well, others okay, I guess, but still like I don't know. And then, yeah, I haven't played that one or freaking Bully, so I don't know about John and Jimmy. But like everyone else was yeah.
For my 2 cents, you missed out on Rockstar's 2 best games.
Yeah, I played GTA 5 and San Andreas, and like actually I played like all of the 3D GTAs and 5, and I was like, you know what, maybe I just don't get Rockstar, and that's just kind of how I stuck.
That's fair.
Like genuinely, there hasn't like there still it hasn't been a freaking Rockstar game where I would say, oh yeah, that I had a good experience with that game. I really liked that game, because like even Red Dead 2, the story for me is a big enough deal breaker that I can't say that I liked the game, even though I really liked playing it. Because I liked playing it, but I dreaded actually like making progress through it.
Yeah, that is a thing that, like, I'd have to say, like, they do a very good job of setting up the atmosphere and, like, really establishing late 1800s, early 1900s America. But the game's biggest flaw, well, the game's first biggest flaw is the amount of busy work and shit. The second biggest flaw is how Dutch's character just goes off the rails really quick and stays off the rails for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I mean it could have worked if Dutch wasn't like if other people actually took power faster, and if Dutch was less on screen, then he could have been a freaking more interesting character to be around, I guess. Right, or like he wouldn't have been so overbearing that him and Micah's 1-2 combo just freaking generate all of the X-Spec heat.
Yeah, it's Micah. I guess I ultimately wound up fine with Micah, but when you go in knowing you're not going to be able to touch him until the end, I guess he's probably a bit more tolerable because you know that he will get his eventually.
I don't know, because I went in knowing that he gets his eventually, but it wasn't fast enough. Like, you know, don't flat out, like, I get it that you don't want to flat out kill him, but like make like okay, I actually have a freaking a specific experience that I can point out as for my issues with how the game handles Micah and Arthur's relationship, which is back to back. I did 2 missions. One of them was going up and beating up the guy who was obviously freaking dying for the that money, and then and in that one. Or in that mission, Or is the biggest piece of shit. Like he's taunting the guy who is obviously dying while kicking the shit out of him. And then the next mission I did was shooting up Strawberry, I think, or something like that. I know it wasn't that because it wouldn't have been that early in the game, whatever. But it was a mission where Michael and Arthur changed words, and in that whole cutscene, Micah was just like yelling at Arthur and freaking berating him and shit like that, and Arthur was taking it like I don't know. Arthur was a bitch in that whole cutscene. And like, don't make Arthur kill him if you really must. But like, you can cause tension in the freaking thing if Arthur punches Micah and Dutch takes Micah's side, but other people take Arthur's side. And it would have actually been like something showing that the strings are getting looser. I don't know. Like, don't yeah.
My complaint, like, it has pretty well just been, like, not to have that as a problem with Micah, but as a problem with Arthur.
I mean, it's a problem with both. Like, it's a problem with how the game handles its characters to me, overall.
I think Arthur falls too much into the classic GTA protagonist trap of trusts people who obviously should not be trusted way, way, way too much.
Maybe.
Which I think, like, I don't know. I eventually got over it with Arthur, but yeah, Arthur's biggest problem throughout the story definitely is that he continues to trust people he very much should not trust, and it's very obvious he should not trust, you know?
Yeah.
What else was there? Well, I do want to say, yeah, like, yeah, I think that for Chapter 6, it is another awkward thing about the game that Chapter 6, they're trying to wrap things up, but also introducing the new storyline of fighting alongside the Wapiti against the US government. And it's like, do we really need to be introducing new storylines now? You know?
Yeah.
Which, honestly, the Wapiti storyline was probably my favorite in the game, so I guess I can't complain that hard. There was something in particular I wanted to say about it. Oh yeah, since you don't remember it, yeah, the mission, it's pretty well the.
Oh no, I remember the oil mission. I just don't remember a lot of the story beats, but I do remember the mission.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, for me, coolest moment in the game is Arthur leading the cavalry charge down the hill. Or rather, Arthur, Charles, and Sadie leading the cavalry charge down the hill. And I gotta go ahead and say, like, I think that mission and the assault on Braithwaite Manor are supposed to be the two most triumphant moments in the entire game. Or at least the two most triumphant moments for Arthur. And I've specifically noticed that during the assault on Braithwaite Manor, they make the deliberate choice of, as the gang is leaving, Dutch says, "All right, Micah, you stay behind and take care of camp. You protect the camp." And it's like, okay, so the biggest, most triumphant moment of the gang is the moment they choose to deliberately leave Micah at home. And then with the Battle of the Oil Refinery, for one thing, Micah chooses to stay at home camp because he doesn't give a shit about the Native Americans, right? Because it's Micah.
Yeah.
And even though Dutch and Bill and Javi go along with the mission, pretty well as soon as you actually arrive at the oil refinery, Dutch, Bill, and Javi fuck off back to, God knows where because they want to go steal the money, right?
Yeah.
And it's Charles and Sadie that say, "No, Arthur, we're staying with you. Let's go get eagle flies." So to me, it seems like both of those moments, they knew ahead of time that players were going to hate Micah and Dutch. And they also knew that the favorite party members were going to be Charles and Sadie, you know?
Yeah.
Because those both moments both are really built on that. And I gotta say, it works. It's probably for me, most people I think prefer the Braithwaite manner because you get that really cool shot of them walking up through the trees. And it's the one time that the gang actually feels united in the entire game.
I don't know.
But for me,
My favorite moment was walking up the hill at the end to Micah.
That is a very good moment, especially because John very much just feels like a one-man army going up there, you know?
Yeah, and I remember, like, I don't remember if I freaking if I bought a shotgun or something like that for that mission or something, but I remember specifically just slowly walking up the hill with all three of us wielding shotguns, and freaking like people would come out from behind the snow freaking dunes or whatever, and the snowbanks, that's the word. And the caves and shit like that. Like one guy ran out of the cave and got immediately shot back into the cave with a shotgun, and then the cave got set on fire.
Like, I imagine nothing even happened to set it on fire. It just set on fire dynamically from him getting annihilated that hard.
Yeah. He went straight to hell. He did not pass go. Did not collect $200.
Yeah. Oh man. What else did I want to say? Okay, so the final mission with Arthur, it needs to be said. So, music is an important thing. Red Dead 1 handled music really well. There are two moments in Red Dead where you have significant plot beats that cause music to start playing. When you first go to Mexico, the song Far Away starts playing to represent how John feels scared and alone and confused in a new place that he's never been, people of a different country that he's never seen, speaking a language he does not speak, and his general despair at the situation. And Compass is the music that plays after Dutch is dealt with, and John finally gets to go home to his family. And those are both handled really well. And Red Dead 2 imitates the same kind of moment when you finally get back from Guarma and you're riding back to Saint Denis, and it starts playing the song Unshaken, which is a really good song and a really good choice for that moment. It kind of symbolizes, well, it kind of represents Arthur trying to be the gang's rock, even though he knows he doesn't really have the internal strength for it. And I gotta say, it's a real fumble on Rockstar's part how they handle music in Arthur's final mission. Because if you remember correctly, I don't know if you would remember this because, like you said, you tuned out from the story at a certain point. But after you save Abigail from Agent Milton, and Arthur sends Sadie and Abigail and Jack and Tilly off to go run away, and he runs back to the camp alone. Arthur's final ride suddenly enters like this sepia tone filter, and like it's slow-mo, and it's playing like really sad music, and you hear all the quotes from Arthur's life.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And it's like, even though it's actually a pretty good song when it plays, I was going through that and I was like, this is so masturbatory. This is so much Rockstar being like, look at the epic saga that we have given to you. Do you not feel the sadness? And it's such, like, Red Dead 1 just letting you go back home while it plays Compass in the background, but other than that, it's just going back home regular style gameplay. It's just letting the music play out for the moment, you know?
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about the music that plays at the end scene of Arthur, which I thought was
I'll get to
okay.
that.
but yeah,
it needs to be gotten to.
The ride back was not good. Like or not the ride, like the freaking that sequence of the slow mo was not good. No, but then like I usually when I played through the game, I didn't bring it up on the podcast, stuff like that annoyed me because I thought it was very well included me whenever I complained about just the freaking the sheer amount of cutscenes that are nothing but the gang riding from point A to point B.
Yeah, Rockstar is really Rockstar wants to make Telltale games.
They should.
Or,
I
yeah,
give them my blessing. Remove all of your gameplay and just make it stories, and they will suck. But I don't care. At least people won't jerk off to it as much.
So yeah, it feels really unnecessary, especially because we already got the sequence of Arthur looking over his life and thinking about like what people have said to him after he gets the tuberculosis diagnosis. And there it was executed a lot better. For one thing, because it's not in slow-mo, because it's just Arthur walking down an empty street and thinking about, the screw-ups he's made in his life and the impacts he's had on people around him.
Yeah.
And that one's a really good moment. And then they repeat it. And the thing that gets me is Arthur doesn't know that he's going to die in that mission. Like, he's going back, like, it being a sad moment is understandable because it's pretty clear that that's, the end of the game, right? Because you're going to go back to tell Dutch Micah is the rat. And no matter how that goes down, even if Dutch believes you, it's not going to go down well. And even if it did go down well, there's like only 5 people left in the game by that point.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you going to do? So that was way too masturbatory. And then you actually arrive at camp. Arthur is like, Dutch, Micah is the rat. And then John fucking comes out of nowhere at just perfect timing and is like, Dutch, I'm alive, you bastard. And then Dutch understandably kind of just gets confused and goes, what? Like, it turns into a Mexican standoff of Arthur and John versus everyone else. And then Grimshaw joins in on Arthur and John's side, which was a pleasant surprise. So, like, Arthur and John suddenly get help from Grandma. Nobody saw that coming. Micah just shoots Grimshaw in front of everyone. And I like, if that started crazy bullshit, that'd be understandable. Like, suddenly then it pops off, right? Except that things don't pop off at all.
Yeah.
Micah shoots Grimshaw, and no one acknowledges it.
She wasn't even there.
View of, oh no, it's even worse than that, actually. After Micah shoots Grimshaw in plain view of everyone, Dutch then follows it up with, now I need to know which of you is following me and which of you is betraying me. And it's like, motherfucker, did you not just see Micah get a team kill right in front of you?
Grimshaw is actually Arthur's stand, and Dutch is not a stand user, so he can't see her.
That's the only rational explanation. There is no dialogue in the entire game to acknowledge Grimshaw's death. The closest you get is like in like John's journal. He mentions like, oh yeah, a fucking Micah shot Grimshaw. Crazy bullshit, man. Oh man. So that all happens, and then like you run away from camp, and you get your horse dies, of course. Which I gotta say that was a well handled moment. Or like well, it's kind of well handled. It's really funny how John is throughout the whole thing begging Arthur, like, dude, we need to get a fucking move on. And Arthur's like, my horse though. I can't believe they killed my horse. You bastards.
Wanna hear a funny thing? Just before
you didn't get your horse.
Yeah.
You didn't get your horse affiliation high enough to get that cutscene, did you?
No, I did. No, the funny
okay.
The funny thing is, I bought the most expensive horse in the game right before that mission.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
And of course, like it seems that the horse got killed by Micah too. Of course it did. So, oh man. Okay, I gotta ask: did you choose to go with Arthur, or did you choose to go back for the money?
I think I went for Arthur.
I chose to go with John. Excuse me, go with John.
Oh yeah, I went with John.
Okay, so there's a problem with that in that Arthur's redemption arc there is no reason for him to go back for the money, right?
Yeah.
Why would you make that choice? Arthur clearly has not been doing that. So I went with the go with John choice, as logically I think just everyone would have. And I gotta say, going on YouTube afterwards and watching the go for the money ending, the go for the money ending is a lot better.
Oh.
That was, that was really disappointing.
Yeah, like
So yeah,
the ending I remember is like chasing down Michael on horseback. The horse dies, and then like Arthur going into immediately undying mode, and just slowly shambling across a freaking like a cliff face, and then or Michael shows up at the top of the cliff face and shoots Arthur, or like they wrestle or something, and then Arthur just lies there dying, and the game is like, hey, the end.
yeah. If you do the go with John ending, there is no explanation for why Arthur's tuberculosis suddenly goes from a problem, but you can deal with it, to Arthur is going to die in a few moments.
Yeah.
It's instant, and it's like, what the fuck? There are a couple of good moments with the dialogue, but like there's so much that goes like, oh, because like the go with John ending, at first you're running with John and that's cool, and then you get the classic heartbreak moment of they have to split up because Arthur knows he's not going to make it, and John, goes, "Oh, you're my brother, Arthur, you're my brother," and then you get what looks like it's going to be Arthur's badass last stand as he starts to shoot at the Pinkertons while crawling up the mountain, saying, "Come and get me, you bastards." And it's like, oh, sweet, we're going to get the Halo Reach final stand, right? Where the game
Objective
just keeps
survive.
going. Yeah, the game, it would have been so much cooler if the game just keeps going until the player actually dies as Arthur, right?
Yeah, it would have been a lot cooler, but cool is not what we're about here at Rockstar. We're about Michael Bell, you see.
So yeah, as you're like you only get to like shoot 3 Pinkerton agents before Micah fucking suplexes Arthur off the side of the mountain. And then you get the most underwhelming boss fight of all time, where it's just a fist fight with Micah while you're kind of like in this little alcove on the side of the mountain. And there's no music playing, not much dialogue. And because Micah's AI is incompetent and because Arthur is dying, both of you miss the majority of your swings with your fists. So it's just this really pathetic fight between a man who's pretty well already dead and a man who was never that talented with fist fights to begin with, just kind of awkwardly wrestling and swinging at each other.
Yeah, a man who's pretty well already dead and a man who should be dead.
Yeah. And they're just awkwardly like, oh, you already lost, Black Lung. No, that's where you're wrong, Marka. I won. And it's just like so awkward. And then
Sorry, go ahead.
And then finally, like, they fall over and Dutch comes up. And Dutch steps on the gun to prevent Arthur from shooting Micah, which is like, oh, they give Dutch one final villain moment, I guess. And then there is the admittedly good dialogue of Arthur looking at Dutch. Like, Arthur is like beat to all fuck by that point. Tuberculosis has kicked in very hard in the last 5 minutes. And Arthur just turns to Dutch and goes, I gave you everything I had. Which admittedly is pretty good dialogue for that moment, and it is pretty sad. And then Dutch is like, oh, I feel sad at this last possible moment, Arthur. And then he walks away. And then Micah pretty well just squeaks, makes some rat noises, and then scurries away, even though he's in the perfect spot to kill Arthur, which he's wanted to do for a long time by that point. But instead, he just scurries away because the player has high honor. So, and then Arthur looks at the sunset as it closes. And admittedly, it's a pretty good shot of Arthur looking at the sun and like the sunset, or actually the sunrise, whatever, the sunrise. And you see Arthur's final breaths, and you see his chest rise and then fall, and then rise and then fall, and then rise and then fall, and it doesn't rise again. And that's a pretty neat shot. That's a pretty neat way to handle Arthur finally going from the tuberculosis, But the problem is that during all that, like, they should have just left that silent. The fight with Micah should have had music, and Arthur's passing should not have had music. They did things the opposite way they should have. Because then, as Arthur is slowly passing away, which should be silent, it plays a gospel version of Unshaken that feels so masturbatory. It's egregious. It's like, look at how tragic this main character's death is. Shed tears, knaves. And it's like, we get it. The death of the main character is supposed to be fucking sad. No shit, assholes. And the thing is, you go and watch the Go for the Money ending, it's so much better. Because Arthur still has that moment of like, he gives John his hat, he gives John his satchel, and, he tells him, like, go be a goddamn man. And then he turns around, pulls out his pistol, and marches off into the forest, the foreboding forest, screaming out Dutch and Micah's names as a Half-Life 2 style techno beat starts to hit. You go back into the caves, actually go and get the Blackwater money and almost make it out until you get caught by Micah in the camp as it burns around you. Micah stabs Arthur in the side with a gigantic knife, and then Micah then pulls out his own knife. Arthur pulls the knife out of his side, and they take up a fucking Metal Gear Solid 3, like, in the dual stance in the camp as the camp burns around you, and the techno beat, like, really picks up. And you get the very badass dialogue lines of Micah saying, I knew you were just as greedy as the rest of us, Black Lung. You came back for the money after all. And Arthur says, I didn't come back for the money. I came back for you. And you get this badass knife duel in the middle of the camp as it burns down around you between Arthur and Micah. And it's like, as the very sweet techno beat hits in the background, it's such a different, like, final stand for Arthur than the very, very lame mountain finale. And it's like, how did Rockstar screw up one of the final moments of Arthur, but in the other one, Arthur goes out so badass? And, like, worse than that, the dialogue still happens of Dutch finally coming in. But rather than Dutch just being a dick and stopping Arthur from shooting Micah, in that ending, Dutch actively breaks up the fight, which makes a lot more sense. And he only arrives after Arthur gets a very, very good moment against Micah, which is, as the fight ends, Arthur bites off one of Micah's fingers and slashes Micah's eye and puts it out. And those stick for the epilogue, by the way. If you go for the money ending, then later as John, when you run into Micah again in the epilogue, Micah only has one eye.
Nice.
Because Arthur put out the other one. And it's actually a much sadder moment in the Go for the Money ending, because Dutch tries to break them up and prevent them from killing each other, not showing any favoritism towards Micah. And there, Arthur actually properly explains to Micah, explains to Dutch, you fucking idiot, he sold us out to Agent Milton. Agent Milton told me to my face, you sold us all out for the rat. And Dutch actually gets a really sad look on his face like, oh, I fucked up. And Micah skulks off into the background and steals the Blackwater money because, of course, it's Micah. He grabbed the money. And Dutch walks off all sullen like, Jesus Christ, I fucked everything up. And Arthur looks as the sun peeks through the boughs of the trees and dies there. And it's so much better handled. And, like, it's one thing to have one ending be vastly superior to the other. It's another thing entirely to have the ending that's superior be the one that from the outset looks like the far more illogical ending. So the overwhelming majority of players went for the Go with John ending and did not get to see the vastly better ending where Arthur actually gets to kind of have his revenge against Micah and actually gets to properly have his kind of like final conversation with Dutch, where he makes Dutch realize that Dutch fucked everything up.
Nah, but W, you don't get it. Revenge bad.
It doesn't even really feel like revenge that much. Oh,
No, but you don't get it. Revenge bad. Clap already.
But the Blackwater money was for John.
But revenge bad. It doesn't matter. Revenge bad.
It's so much more of a satisfying ending. Oh, fuck. Because Arthur dies either which way. Like, you know that the moment that decision pops up and the gang has come to an end, that Arthur has to also come to an end. Okay. All right. Epilogue. Okay. Chapter 7. For all intents and purposes, it's Chapter 7. The game calls it Epilogue Part 1, but it's really Chapter 7. Which is mostly John being a ranch hand. And I gotta say, it's boring, mundane stuff, but it's nonetheless very cute to see John trying and failing to adjust to civilian life. And just kind of being an incompetent husband and an incompetent father. But he's trying, you know?
Yeah, honestly, I think that was probably my favorite chapter of the game.
And then it builds up to the very, very, very good mission of when the gang shows up and steals the ranch's cattle. And John goes to get the cattle back. And it's a very, very badass moment of, yeah, John Marston is back. It's pretty well directly ripped from John Wick, but still. Like, John going one-man army and annihilating the entire cattle rustler gang as the other ranch hands are like, God fucking damn, John, where'd this come from? It feels really good.
Yeah.
And I especially love that, like, it's a bit masturbatory for Red Dead 1, but I love that they get the Red Dead 1 cover shot of John going up to execute the gang leader with the sawn-off shotgun, and it's just straight up the Red Dead Redemption 1 cover, you know?
Yeah.
Chapter 8 is also a lot of fun, because it's wrapping things up with the gang, and I gotta say, Chapter 8 is really dissonant with Red Dead Redemption 1, because Chapter 8 is really gumdrops and rainbows ending for the gang. Because, like, Karen, like, you get told, like, oh yeah, Karen probably died of alcoholism. But other than that, every returning member of the gang, except for Micah, gets, you know, a peachy, keen ending. Like, John gets to retire with his family. Charles is like, well, I've decided I'm going to go north to Canada and start a family. After Charles being so distant from pretty much everyone for the whole game. And Sadie's like, you know what? I think I'm going to actually finally move on from my husband's death. I'm going to go to South America. And I'm going to start a business and also probably, like, marry a handsome revolutionary. I'm going to get me some. And it's like, even Sadie gets a happy ending where she finally moves on. You know, because, like, the first 6 chapters are so thoroughly Sadie is not going to get a happy ending. And it's actually, like, I think Sadie's arc is actually handled pretty well throughout the first 6 chapters, where it's like, Sadie is going to go until she burns out.
Yeah.
Like, it's probably one of my favorite dialogue moments in the game is when Arthur and Sadie are talking in Chapter 6. And Arthur points out John and says, like, you know, you and me need to make sure John gets out of this. You and me, we're more ghosts than people. And it's a pretty great summary of where Arthur and Sadie both are at the storyline in that point. Because Arthur is literally dying. He knows he's already dead. He knows he's running on borrowed time. So yeah, he's more ghost than person. And Sadie is stuck in a life that has passed her long since by, refuses to move on, and is charging headlong into death. So yeah, she's also more ghost than person. So you don't expect at all that Chapter 8 is like, oh yeah, Sadie actually moves on after they kill Micah and decides to go to South America and start a new life. And it's like, what? I'm sorry? It's as unexpected of an ending as if, like, imagine if Chapter 6 ended with Arthur walks into camp, Micah's the rat, Dutch. And Dutch is like, okay, Arthur. Then Dutch just on the spot pulls out his pistol, executes Micah, and then they all go to Tahiti.
No.
And
Dutch.
just fucking smash cut to Arthur's, like, drinking out of a coconut, watching some hula girls dancing, and Arthur being like, oh yeah, this was worth it.
This coconut makes my tuberculosis. I will not die. In fact,
Yeah.
in fact, I am immortal now.
Man, I saw someone wondering why Guarma is even in the game, because they could have, if they wanted to do Arthur getting stuck in a foreign country, they could have gone with Mexico. And Mexico already, was designed in Red Dead 1, so like it probably would have been easier on the budget. And then I saw someone point out the only reason is because if Arthur had gone to Mexico instead of Guarma, the tuberculosis never would have developed because Mexico has a really dry climate.
Yeah.
So there could have been, an alternate ending where Arthur goes, fuck this, leaves the gang, goes to Mexico, and spends the rest, gets to live for another 20 to 30 years because the dry climate's way easier on his tuberculosis. Oh, man. It is really funny. I do love that while the game has you in the story meet up with Uncle and Charles and Sadie and Micah and Dutch again, you also get to run around in free roam and tie things up with several other members of the gang, which I don't imagine you did, Addy.
Maybe. I don't remember.
So you can run into in free roam as John, you can run into Mary Beth, Tilly, Pearson, and Rains Fall again and wrap things up with all of them. You even get to wrap things up with a few of the strangers, which I thought was really cute. Did you do the stranger mission of helping the woman learn how to hunt as Arthur?
Nope. I never even no. I did hunt twice or 3 times during my entire playthrough, and twice of those were with John. So.
Did you ever befriend the veterans in Valentine and Rhodes as Arthur?
I think I shot one of them, so probably not.
Jesus, okay.
No, wait, no. I tried to befriend one of them. The reason I remember shooting one of them is because I watched someone else's playthrough and they shot the veteran because they thought that the veteran stole one of their guns because the game did its classic thing where it removes all of your guns, aside from the freaking cattleman.
Okay, I need to say, for fuck's sakes, Rockstar, the auto equip and auto holstering while you're on the horse, that shit needs to go. There are so many times where a story mission starts and Arthur, I had Arthur running around with no gun, with no long arms equipped, and then Arthur gets off his horse and suddenly he's just strapped to the fucking teeth, packing a shotgun, a rifle, a goddamn repeater, a bow, 3 more shotguns all strapped to his back. And it's like, God damn it, game. I wanted Arthur to just go in with a pistol. I look like an asshole with this many guns strapped to my back.
Yeah, for me it was the opposite. Usually when I did missions, I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring a sniper. I'm gonna bring a freaking a flintlock, or whatever the hell the equivalent would be, and have that for long range fights. And then I also made 2 very expensive pistols, and named them Ebony and Ivory after freaking Devil May Cry.
I did on my first playthrough as well. Yeah.
But they made 2 very, very expensive pistols, and I was like, well, for mid to close range, I can use the pistols, and for very long range, I can use the gun, and then that will be my setup. And the game was like, no, shotgun and cattleman revolver. You won't even get the shotgun most times, and I will only give you 1 cattleman as well.
The cattleman's a really stupid one because it keeps reverting to the cattleman because the cattleman is the one that Arthur uses in cutscenes. That is so fucking dumb. But it's a classic video game thing.
But he used the guns I customized in most of the cutscenes, and then most of the cutscenes that I actually remember, because I remember being astounded that he would use the gun I had on me when I started the mission in the cutscene, and then when I load in, I only have a cattleman.
Crunch time is really hard for game developers, Addy. They had 8 years of development and still crunched like mad in the final couple of years. Dare I suggest that the Hauser brothers have too much money to throw around with these games?
Yes.
Can I just go ahead and say, the game's also had a bug in it for about 3 months now, where every NPC will act like you're wearing goddamn nothing, and will say, aren't you freezing to death and all that? And you're in Lemoyne where it's 80 fucking degrees, and you're wearing a t-shirt and you'll run into Uncle, and Uncle's like, "Ain't you freezing your chestnuts off in that, Arthur?" And every NPC says it, even if it's supposed to be a very like important dialogue. Oh, you can be in Lemoyne where it's 80 degrees, done up in the heaviest winter clothing possible, decked out head to toe in trench coats and animal furs. And they'll be like, "Ain't you cold in that, Arthur?" Even Micah will be like that. And it's like, why the fuck would Micah even show any concern? Like Micah's like, "Well, Arthur, I intend on shooting you in the back someday, but ain't you gonna freeze in that? Shouldn't you put on something a little warmer? You know, I hate you, but I care, you know?"
Yeah. Like, at this point, if they don't want to fix that bug, then just introduce a thing where if you press antagonize in return, then freaking Arthur says something like, "No, open up a window."
As you're in an open air camp.
Yeah. or he just starts singing, "Getting hot in here."
Yeah. Did you ever get Arthur so hammered that he'd start singing?
No.
Oh, if you get Arthur hammered enough around camp, he'll just start singing like Reverend Swanson does. I thought that was pretty good. What else is there? So yeah, the chapter 8, yeah, it was cute, real cute, all that. I want to say chapter 8 has my favorite dialogue in the entire game, which is when you finally get Uncle and Charles out to Beecher's Hope after John bought it, and it's just that shit shack in the middle of nothing.
Yeah.
And like Uncle just takes one look at it and goes, "John, what the fuck is that?" And it says to John, I believe the exact dialogue is, "Oh, Abigail, I've changed. Please come live with me in this outhouse I wouldn't ask my worst enemy to take a shit in." I love that Uncle, like, for Uncle to be the one that everyone calls useless, Uncle, like, obviously Uncle does none of the actual, like, work, but Uncle is the one who actually gets John to make Beecher's Hope, and not just a shit shack in the middle of the desert, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Uncle has to be the one to explain to Junkle.
Cool. Yeah.
To John, it has to be the one to explain to John, "No, fuckhead, your wife is not going to be impressed with you buying a shit shack in the middle of the fucking desert. You're gonna have to build an actual house, fuckhead." By the way, weird detail. I did really love the cutscene of John and Charles building the house. That was really cute, and the music that plays in the background, the fucking building montage. I don't know. I just thought it was really cute. But did you know that while you're doing that, there's a bluebird who keeps showing up on the construction lot and getting really close to John Willie's building? And I thought that was really weird in the cutscene. Did you know that bluebird only appears if Arthur had high honor?
Oh, no.
There's nothing else in the game that behaves like that.
The implication I think is that the bird is Arthur. Cue up Bluebird by freaking Ikimonogatari.
So Arthur reincarnated as a bluebird and was just sitting there watching the construction. Like, "Yeah, I died for good reason, boy. Build that house, boy." Now imagine just for a moment that you get to that final mission. You have that showdown with Micah on top of the mountain. And rather than it being Dutch that shoots Micah in the middle of the showdown,
it's a bird.
You see the gunshot, and then the camera cuts to the bird with one of its little legs holding up a pistol. And the bird has a miniature version of Arthur's hat.
Or like imagine if you got like an assist from the bird during the Micah boss fight, so Arthur swoops down to pluck out his other eye as well.
Yeah, I'm finishing this. Oh, I forgot. Talking about the bird wearing a hat, there's a stranger mission I didn't finish, but I wish I would have because I heard about it and it sounds the best. Okay, you guys need to see this. So there's a bunch of missions you can do in the epilogue as John for a taxidermist who is like, hey, go collect all these furs for me. And once you complete it, the taxidermist is like, oh my God, John, you were so much help. So much help. I've decided to give you a special reward. Here it is.
Yes. Yes.
It's a goddamn squirrel wearing miniature versions of John's clothes.
Like it,
Which is like, how much work did he have to go to make a miniature version of John's outfit?
like I know this is a taxidermist and shit like that, but like I really want to believe that this is not squirrel taxidermy. It's actually a squirrel familiar that shoots people.
Yeah. And wait, okay, here's the really great thing. After that, John actually, I guess, kind of likes it and takes it home to Abigail. And you get this cutscene.
Like the thing is, this picture could be used for nefarious purposes because you could edit anything instead of the squirrel.
Yeah.
It's true.
Just like I'm just imagining like John pointing at freaking like hardcore tentacle hentai. It's art.
So I didn't get to play it, but this is another thing that makes me really want to. I uninstalled Red Dead 2 pretty well as soon as I finished the final chapter because holy fuck, 100 gigs. But I kind of want to reinstall just to do this mission chain because after that, because Abigail is appropriately disgusted by the damn thing and hates it.
Why? It's so cool though.
After that, you have a string of things where Abigail keeps making the thing disappear. And you as John can try and go find the various places where Abigail has hid it out in the wilds to get rid of it and keep bringing it back and putting it back on the mantle. And eventually, Abigail somehow takes the fucking squirrel statue and puts it on top of the mountain where Arthur died.
Boy.
Which is 2 states away.
Oh, man.
And John goes all that distance to get it back and put it back on the mantle. Like
shit.
That is so stupid. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the contrast between like the moments of Red Dead 2 that are so serious and the moments they're just sheer stupidity like that. Oh man. Whew. Oh yeah, one thing I want to say about that ending. So the way Micah goes out. So the way it's supposed to go, I think, is obviously Dutch shoots Micah in the chest. That leaves Micah wide open, and then John activates Deadeye, right?
Yeah.
And I think the way you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to line up all the Deadeye targets on Micah's chest, right?
I don't know.
I didn't. So as soon as that Deadeye popped up, I was like, oh, sweet. I moved the cursor up, and I lined up all 6 Deadeye cursors on Micah's face.
I think I did that too.
So John fucking fans the hammer and nails 6 headshots in a row into Micah's face with perfect placement between the eyes. And then Micah, after getting shot in the face, shot in the heart once, and then shot in the face 6 times, then turns around, takes a good 3 or 4 steps, shrugs, and then falls over. And I'm like, oh, Rockstar probably didn't plan on the player shooting Micah in the face. You're probably supposed to shoot Micah in the chest.
Shoot him in the dick.
It makes more sense.
Shoot him in the dick 8 times.
Oh my god, I should have. It was this fucking great image of Micah with like half his fucking skull missing. Like Micah's face is just turned into a big fucking hole. And Micah nonetheless walks 3 steps and shrugs before falling over. Oh man. I also really love that after all that is done, after the credits roll, you can go back to the top of the mountain and no one has bothered to move Micah's body. It's still there. Like the game can go on for months and months and months after the credits roll Micah's body will still be there.
Nice.
And it's just frozen, and he looks like fucking Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. Was there anything else I wanted to say? I feel like there was something. Oh, I did actually check. Yes, in that final boss fight with Micah, at least before Dutch shoots him in the heart, Micah does counter your Deadeye, which surprised me. If you try to activate Deadeye on Micah in the final boss fight, he just instantly like throws a fucking hail of bullets at you at super speed. He Deadeyes you, and John dodges out of the way, and it instantly cancels Deadeye. So they do kind of have that. They do kind of have the Virgil thing of Micah uses your own tech against you,
I guess.
which is cute. The Micah boss fight otherwise was really, really poorly designed, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The entire way it's designed is legitimately just Micah keeps shooting at you from cover, flush him out with dynamite, and then they do the standoff. Which they could have done that a lot cooler. Come on. What were you going to say?
Oh, I forget. Bloody hell. Oh yeah, I was going to say, yeah, the Micah boss fight is poorly designed because Micah is poorly designed as a character.
Oh yeah, I guess one last thing. So did you notice that in that final mission as you're going up the mountain with Sadie, and Sadie gets ambushed by one of the guys who stabs her with a knife? The knife that Sadie gets stabbed with is like the size of a fucking machete, and it gets run through pretty well the entirety of Sadie's internal organs. And as you see, like Sadie just pulls the knife out of her guts by herself on the spot. And it's like, don't worry, just go up, I'll catch up. And it's like, okay, obviously Sadie's not going to catch up. She must have lost all of her internal organs to that. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you were to run a person through their entire internal organs with a freaking machete, they would probably die from shock. Like, not even the damage, just shock.
Yeah.
And like, Sadie's pretty skinny too. So it almost looks like the knife would come out the other end. But then you get to the top of the mountain and Sadie shows up, and it's like, Jesus Christ, woman.
She is the Terminator.
Sadie must have Trevor's ability from GTA 5 of temporary invincibility. That's the only rational explanation.
Sadie ate the gum fruit. Now Now she's made of rubber.
Can I just say, could it get any more obvious than like chapter 6, 7, and 8? The game was meant at some point for Sadie and Charles to be playable. Like, it just seems really obvious to me. Like, I think that like if the leak was true that they were planning on having those fucking 9 playable characters at one point, like that concept would have had to get shit canned like before they even began proper game development, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like that is just so stupidly ambitious, even for the Hauser brothers. But there's so much with Charles and Sadie that really makes it feel like they were supposed to be playable, like fairly late in development. It feels like, you know?
Yeah.
And as they just got too ambitious with the idea of having Arthur and John be able to conversate with everyone they run into and having so much of that, it probably occurred to them, oh boy, oh fuck, we do not have the time to have Charles and Sadie's actors sit and fucking record all that dialogue. We do not have the time for the writers to write all that dialogue. We do not have the time to make, separate animations for them. Red Dead 2 is not nearly as good as Red Dead 1. There's a lot that's really great about it, but it's a very, very distinctly flawed game. And the flaw, there was a way I saw described for it. Red Dead 2 has higher highs and lower lows. Red Dead 1's story overall is way better. I don't think that any of Red Dead 1's missions ever quite hit the set piece high that Red Dead 2 does. None of the red missions in Red Dead 1 feel as triumphant and badass as the Battle of Braithwaite Manor or the battle at the oil refinery. But the story overall, way better. John, overall, way better main character than Arthur. Dutch alone, Dutch has 3 scenes in Red Dead 1. And in all of those scenes, he is better written than he is anywhere in Red Dead 2. And Red Dead 1 has so much less busy work. Red Dead 2's got so much. But and hunting, oh my god, hunting in Red Dead 1. You don't need to fucking John gets a pelt and he puts it in his pocket. There you go. You don't need to go to the fucking trapper and fucking craft items. It's, hunt 10 animals and you will unlock the hunter outfit. And it's that simple. It's that easy. And I wish they would have stuck with that.
How about more realism? Eat up,
Yeah.
drink, and freaking bait your horse. Hasn't.
I actually like the eating and drinking, but that's partly because the hunger system wasn't really that stringent. I honestly just thought it was really funny. Arthur eating, in the middle of a gunfight, Arthur whips out a can of pineapples like he's fucking Popeye and just shotguns it in the middle of the gunfight. I like that, and having the food and drink systems, I think, did kind of get more across how the average person lives day to day in this time period. And it helps that, it's really quick. But there's so much in this game that isn't quick, eating food and drinking in Red Dead 2 is really quick. You just get the food out, Arthur shotguns it, or John shotguns it, and then you move on. It's under a second, usually. Everything else, though, like drinking coffee around camp, cutting wood, moving sacks of grain, moving the hay bales, all the fucking chores that John has on Beecher's Hope once you finish the game up. It just takes so much time and work. And it's fuck, real life chores are more fun than this.
I mean, the thing with real life chores is that if you do the chores in real life, then you don't have to do them in real life. So.
I mean, chores can be fun in video games too. Among Us is such a fucking raging hit as it is, because if you're playing as the crewmate, it's fun to do the little chore mini games. But in Red Dead 2, they're just a drag. And so much of the realism elements are unnecessary, cleaning the guns was unnecessary. Can I say that? It's cute having the inspect animation and the clean animations. They did not need to go to all that trouble. All the ammunition types, unnecessary, except for the bow. Having different ammunition types for a bow and arrow is perfectly understandable. But having the different ammunition types for the revolver was just why? Why even go to the trouble,
Yeah.
And they didn't have to put so much work into the NPCs. They could have saved a lot of money and time on that. They probably wouldn't have had to crunch the developers so hard.
They would have found something else.
The horse balls and horse dick.
Yeah,
nobody needed to do that.
Yeah, we didn't need that. Although, one thing where they went really into detail, and I like it because of something that isn't related to the actual game, I suppose. But I like the skinning animations just because of how much it freaks people out. Because I'm evil.
Well, it's really detailed, except for the part where it stops being detailed, because Arthur or John gets to the head, and suddenly it's well, we can't animate this, cut to black.
Yeah,
all that. I would just rather them just have, no skinning whatsoever, just cut to black immediately, than that halfway bullshit,
I mean, yeah, but I find it really funny whenever I see a clip of a person playing the game for the first time, because I'm watching videos that were uploaded 5 years ago, and and they hunt a deer, and they're like, oh no, where is he sticking that knife? Arthur shoves a large machete up a deer's ass, and then proceeds to cut it to pieces, and then just removes the skin like it's the tablecloth in a freaking magician's trick.
One thing I really missed is in Red Dead 1, when you go hunting and you skin something, it's pretty quickly, but they nonetheless get John and I guess spoilers for Red Dead 1, Jack have one-liners for when they do it. And one of my favorite lines in that game is when Jack skins an animal, He says, "Let me get your coat, ma'am." It's stupid, but I love it.
Yeah.
Was there anything
It's
else I
art,
wanted to say?
like John says.
Yeah, it's art.
It's art.
Okay, can I just go ahead and say, what the fuck even was the point of them putting in all the work to bring the state of New Austin back from Red Dead 1 if there's fuck all to do there?
Nostalgia
There's
points.
only. I know, but like, there's only one story mission that even brings you there. Like, and you don't go far in it either. It's just one mission where Sadie's like, "Hey, let's go catch this dude," and you go into a canyon, and then you only teleport there as well, so you don't really get to see New Austin. So if you want to see New Austin in Red Dead 2, you have to actively make the choice as John of fucking off and going to explore New Austin.
I forget, is New Austin the city, the small city that's next to where John lives? Or no?
No, that's Blackwater.
Oh,
There's plenty to do in Blackwater. New Austin is the very blatantly not Texas state that's just to the south of West Elizabeth. West Elizabeth is the state where John lives.
yeah, I don't think I went there aside from that one mission with
Why
Sadie.
would you? Why would you? Yeah, it's. You gotta admire the ambition with some of this stuff, but the ambition feels really numbed in a lot of parts because it's like, well, they only got this far by busting everyone's balls and by half-assing a lot of shit and by wasting a lot of 2K's money, which I'm glad to see 2K's money go to waste, but I don't respect it as a development thing, you know? I respect it as a fuck 2K thing. I hope that Red Dead 3 or Red Dead 4, god damn it. God damn it. Why is it called Red Dead Redemption 2? I hate that so much. Like, it goes Red Dead Revolver, okay. Red Dead Redemption, okay. Red Dead Redemption 2. God damn it.
The next one in the series is actually going to be called Rough Dutch Reduction. You will play
No,
as
what would
Dutch
be-
finally.
What would be stupid would be if it was Red Dead Revolver 2. Like-
Red Dead Roundabout.
So I know Rockstar's not really in much of a rush to see Red Dead Revolver get much recognition. But like, it did happen. Red Dead Redemption is considered the sequel to it. It kept the first two words of the title. Red Dead Redemption 2 should not have been named Red Dead Redemption 2. It should have been named some other R word, for the love of God. Like, I even saw an interview with Dutch's voice actor where he admitted that as he was working on Red Dead Redemption 2, one of his nephews came up to him and said, "You're working on Red Dead Redemption 2, aren't you?" And Dutch's voice actor said, "Well, no." Because in his head, he thought, there's no way in hell they're going to name it Red Dead Redemption 2. That'd be fucking stupid. Obviously, they're going to name it Red Dead something else. Because it's Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, so it stands to reason the third entry is going to have a different subtitle.
Obviously, he just didn't have enough faith.
Obviously, Dutch did not have enough faith. He didn't have enough faith, or Hauser brothers.
Houses.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then he said he had to go and apologize to his nephew for lying to him after the title got revealed.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I imagine it was something like, "I'm sorry for breaking your faith. I didn't know either."
Yeah. Okay. Can I'm just gonna be straight up. I'm just gonna be straight up. I kind of don't want a Red Dead Redemption 3.
I mean, yeah.
I'm curious to see how things go at Rockstar now that Dan Houser is gone, because literally every Rockstar game except for the first two Max Payne's, Red Dead and Red Dead Revolver, were written by Dan Houser, and he's gone. So,
Yeah.
that's gonna be big changes. Let me just check if he wrote Bully. Like, I would imagine he wrote Bully. Yes, he did. Okay. So I think we're probably gonna say a fine goodbye to the classic Dan Houser trope of the obvious traitor.
Hopefully.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah. Every game Dan Houser wrote, like, he took over on Max Payne 3, and Max Payne 3 is loaded with obvious traitor characters. Like, my God, how much of a writer's fetish can you have, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I imagine every time that Sam went to his brother Dan to write a new game, he was like, all right, Dan, we're going to need you to write a new story. And Dan's like, all right, Sam, I got it. I got it.
And he just
Stick with me here.
he pulls out the script of GTA Vice City, and he's like, "All right, change the names."
Yeah. All right, stick with. I mean, GTA 3 is the most straight up one. GTA 3 starts off with the traitor betraying you. It's the first cutscene. Just cut to the chase, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so. Oh. Yeah, all right. I don't want Red Dead Redemption 3. If they're going to throw money at something, I'd love to see Red Dead Redemption 2 Director's Cut, or Red Dead Redemption 2 The Hauser Cut, or Red Dead Redemption 2 Extended Cut, or something. Put the money into making a game that is hopefully more concise. Add, I don't know if they could. The Red Dead Redemption 2 cast is all still alive, so far as I'm aware. Put the money in to get Charles and Sadie playable. It would probably be too crazy to suggest the idea of playable Dutch Bill, Javi, Hosea, but still, I don't know, whatever.
Add the first game into it after the epilogue.
I mean, they've already modeled a lot of Mexico.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that they should, because most of the work is already there. They would just really need to set up the freaking the flags and shit like that, and securing the rights to the voice acting again.
The big problem is that Red Dead Redemption 1 was written on a notorious case of spaghetti code. And that Rockstar has said that Red Dead Redemption 1 is never going to get ported to another console ever again because the spaghetti code is just that bad.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like they should just like rework the coding for Red Dead 1 on top of Red Dead 2, like add it into the game as a post game thing, and so we can just continue John's story, and then eventually you end up playing as Jack in Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
And like
I'm gonna be honest.
yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
Like it would take a lot more work than just like porting the game and just adding it as another thing or something like that. But like if the spaghetti code is that bad, then they can just rework the whole thing, and then just like since this would be in a hypothetical director's cut, they can just ask more money for it. Like
Well, I mean, I'd also go ahead and say like Red Dead 2 could stand to have some extra missions added. And it's painful for me to say that because I think the game already overstays its welcome at well over 100 missions. But fuck, was there stuff that could really have used more development in that game? Like throw in a couple more missions with Sadie that focus on fighting the O'Driscolls, right?
yeah.
Like maybe throw in a couple more missions with Charles just to give him something to do before Chapter 6, because holy fuck is he just kind of in the background up until Chapter 6.
Yeah, actually build characters that aren't Dutch or Micah.
Yeah. Hosea gets a lot of time. Well, yeah, Hosea does get a lot of time. Arthur gets a lot of time. Being the main character, unsurprisingly, but he does. John is oddly, like, just missing throughout the middle stretch of the game. A lot of the characters feel like they're just missing through the middle stretch of the game, honestly. Like, John goes from, like, the first 2 chapters, Arthur hates John, thinks he's a whiny little bitch, and so on. And then the final, Chapter 6, it's like, oh, John, you're the only one of us that can get out of this, John. I need to help you, John. And it feels very sudden, you know?
Yeah, Arthur realized that the plot armor shifted.
Yeah. I can feel my plot armor drifting away, John. Oh, Christ. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the extent of what I wanted to say. if they did do an extended cut of Red Dead Redemption 2, I'd love for them to do a couple things like turning off some of the simulation features. That would be ideal.
Also fix the freaking loadouts so you can actually have your loadout.
Yes. Yes, that would be great. What else should they fix? Fix some of the bugs. That'd be nice. It'd be nice if they fixed some of the goddamn bugs.
And the skip option for the cutscenes where people are just going from point A to point B on horsebacks and nothing is happening.
Or at least make it where you can turn on cinematic camera mode and it makes it where Arthur and John will just ride naturally. You don't have to control them.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the Vulcan talk segments. Well, those two, yeah, but like I really hate the sheer amount of cutscenes that are just legitimately just non-interactable cutscenes where people are riding from point A to point B, and it's just cinematic shot and thanks to cinematic shot, and there's no dialogue and there's nothing. It's just people riding horses.
Well, you know why those are there, right?
Loading probably, but like shit, dude.
Loading. They're loading screens.
I would honestly
Another
take an actual loading screen over those.
It's the thing there is with modern gaming of like the idea loading screens bad, which thankfully is not going to be a thing anymore because the PS5 is pretty like the SD is pretty well getting rid of the idea of loading screens as we know them. What else would I throw in there as a gameplay improvement that they should make? Well, an obvious one like with Rockstar, you always have, or rather with 2K, you have to keep in mind what would be the money motivation. How would they add on to the online, to the multiplayer, right? Because that's the heart of Rockstar nowadays is online multiplayer. To which the answer would be, well, if they go to that much length, I would say add Mexico to Red Dead Online because it is weird that you can't go to Mexico, but you can go to every other part of the Red Dead 1 map.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it. Fuck it. I'm gonna say it. Guarma.
Yeah, I was about to say, like the freaking the single player content just gets Red Dead 1. Multiplayer gets an entirely playable whole island of Garma.
I honestly think it would be funnier if they did add that cut feature of after Arthur's death, you can go back to Guarma. You can just buy a ticket and go back to Guarma.
But if you spend too much time on Guarma, then John also gets tuberculosis.
It's just in the air there.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it would be partly so funny just because it's so torturous for Arthur and John. I mean, for Arthur and Dutch and Micah to be on Guarma, and then John to just casually go back like he's on fucking vacation or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or like it makes even less sense for like Jack to go there because like why the fuck would he?
Why not? He's sightseeing.
Yeah, or go back as Charles and Sadie if they're playable. Like Charles is just like I want to see if Arthur was bullshitting about all that. When Sadie took her trip to South America, she got lost along the way and wound up in Guarma.
Yeah.
What else was there? I guess that's pretty much the extent of what I had to say about Red Dead 2. Yeah, it's I've thought about how last year I made that top 50 games list. But ever since I've made it, I've already had a lot of games that would have had to change that list. And I don't think Red Dead 2 would fit into my top 10 or even my top 20, but I would probably fit it somewhere in the top 50, you know?
Yeah.
It's I will say out of the games that I've played of 2021 so far, out of the games I've beaten of 2021 so far, which it's compared to Ghost of Tsushima and Hades, yeah, it doesn't keep up. I mean, even for like the year it came out in, Red Dead 2 came out in 2018. But there's a problem because it came out same goddamn year God of War 4 and Spider-Man PS4 did. And yeah, God of War 4 for storytelling kind of blows Red Dead 2 out of the water.
Yeah.
Oh no, actual characters with cohesive arcs.
Oh no, there's no Dutch yelling about fate again.
Yeah.
It's Odin instead.
But Odin's actually the bad guy, and you're actually supposed to hate him, so it's
Yeah.
actually cohesive. There is still roughly the same amount of boy, though, so.
The 2018 must have just been the year of boy, because we had Dead of Boy, we had Red Boy Redemption,
We had Red Boy
Yeah.
Redemption.
and we also had Spider Boy.
There was another game that year that was all about boy.
I forget which one. Pink?
I don't have a clue.
Well, I think of Hades, and Hades always calls Zagreus boy.
But yeah, but that wasn't 2018.
Wait, actually, I just remembered something. Somebody talk about something while I look this up on Google Images.
All right, I guess I'll talk about something. So, with the new drawing program and stuff like that, the age-old question once again resurfaced in my family of, hey, you're a furry, why don't you draw furry porn? And I keep telling them that I'm not about that life, because freaking, like, if I really needed furry porn, then I can just look some up. But like, But what if people commission you? Because like, I don't advertise my reviews or the single player or the freaking shit I record alone. So obviously I'm going to advertise that I make porn. Like, if I were to.
Ah, yes.
Perhaps I shouldn't have just Googled Hades boy. That maybe I should have known that wasn't going to get me good results.
Hades Boy is my favorite mid 2000s emo band.
Okay, can someone help me remember what's the name of those like diagrams where it's like 3 circles overlapping?
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram. Yes, thank you.
Another thing I guess that I could talk about while W does his Google foo is I recently saw a post on. Yeah?
Found it.
All right.
It's different than I remember, but I found it. Okay, finish what you were going to say, Eddie.
So I recently saw a post on the best friends subreddit that was a cross post between that and the Thames Hiding Herds subreddit, where the title of the original post was just, I know how to get y'all into Thames Fighting Herds. It was a picture of Dragon Baiken, and yeah. Like, they redesigned Baiken, keeping the most important design aspects of her, so not the tits. Like the things that actually keep up with her personality and stuff like that. It was actually an okay design. I mean, I didn't like the art style because it was freaking I'm forgetting the name. Ponies. What's the name of the show? Friendship is Magic, but what My Little Pony? Yeah, because it followed the My Little Pony aesthetic, and like I don't. It's not an art style that I like, but I don't have any particular problem with it. But the design was cool. Let me see if I can fish it out while W posts his thing.
Whoops. There we go. Okay.
Yes, King Harkinian.
I appreciate a good, stupid Venn diagram.
Yeah.
I like the listing of King Harkinian as merciless.
I mean, he does only speak with you once you've scrubbed all of the floors in Hyrule. Shit. I'm having trouble finding that picture that y'all don't care about. Hey.
I'm starving, and also I'm going off of no sleep, so I am feeling my body increasingly numbing.
I believe it.
Has he become so numb?
I don't know anymore.
No, you haven't, because you can't feel you there. It becomes so awake. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics because I never pay attention. Because why would I? There is none. You know that actually is a small tidbit that I find kind of funny. Is how apparently the singer for Crush 40 has revealed his secret to writing lyrics, which is he like when they make the music, when they make the basis for the music, he just makes sounds with his mouth and then writes words that sound like the sounds he made that sounded good. Which makes sense when you look at the lyrics.
Incredible.
Yeah. Here's it. Okay. Are we crashing?
Are we?
Hey, PC. No. Okay. It's fine.
It's really bad if Addy crashes because we lose the recording.
Yeah. There you go. There's Dragon Baiken. Which, yeah, I mean, if you want to sell me on a game, this is a good way to do it.
Why does it have ears?
Those are not ears. Those are freaking. Oh, I'm forgetting the name.
Are they horns?
Yeah, horns.
Ah.
So yeah.
Something just occurred to me.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Yes.
So Charmy's coming back for KOF 15.
Yeah.
And boy, you can tell it's the first time Charmy's come back for a mainline title since everybody got obsessed with her boobs.
Oh yeah.
Because the modest dress of yesteryear is gone.
Yeah, I saw that everyone got freaking thirsty for Shermie. It's their thing. I mean, I don't care.
I'm glad to have her back because it's another command grab character, and everyone knows I'm a sucker for command grab characters.
Yeah.
At some point, I need to go back to Uni and try to figure out how to actually play as that command grab character in that game because he is like the only command grab character I have not gotten into at some point.
He's a lot of fun, but a lot of his command grabs work off of buffering, from what I remember. Of like, because I did actually get good with him at one point. I probably forgotten most of it, but you know.
I mean, in a hyper game, yeah, a lot of that is like just buffering into grabs.
Yeah, but like he has a lot of good tools from what I remember, where you can just put like you dash into people or do the closest approximate move. I forget, but you dash into people, you get them with like a normal chain, and then while the character pulls off the normal chain, you do the input for the command grab so that you can grab people with the command grab immediately once the normal chain finishes.
I see.
Like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I would need to check it out. But the more I think about it, the less hype I am about like even the newer games coming out, because partially because whenever I look at freaking fighting game discourse online now, it seems like people are actively being aggressive towards like the games I like and the way I play games. So
it depends on what corners of the discourse you're paying attention to, I guess.
And so like that and the thing of like, when we played Guilty Gear Strive earlier, wait, was that this year or was that last year? I forget. It was this year, I think, earlier this year.
I believe so, yes.
But yeah, when we played Guilty Gear Strive earlier this year, I was still like, oh, well, I'll probably pre-order a game because Guilty Gear and stuff like that. But like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll just wait until Johnny's out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting as well. Unlike you, I do have a reliable main there. I have Nagoriyuki, but I'm just like not so huge of a Guilty Gear fan. I'm going to break out $60 over it.
Well, it's not just that, but for me, it's also the thing of like, I could do it, but at the same time, the gameplay for me was a bit too like, specifically the way the inputs felt. To me, like in hindsight, now that I've actually put more time into what things I liked about it and what I didn't, like on top of the ridiculous damage and the removal of tools, I also didn't like how it felt like playing Mortal Kombat. And the thing is, while realizing that, I had to add the freaking the asterisk for myself, saying, "Yo, that's like bad math in Mortal Kombat at that point, because that's how bad I felt sometimes." And like I have no real good opinions on Mortal Kombat. Well, more than ones anyway. No, not NetherRealm era. Well, okay, that's a lie. I liked 9.
9 is very good. X is pretty good, but distinctly flawed. 11 is in this awkward spot where the best description I've seen someone refer to with MK11 is there is no tech. What you see on the surface is what you get.
Yeah.
You can put in time with practice, but you're not going to find hidden techniques with characters. You're not going to find like, oh, I can do this. What you see is what you get. Which, for some people, that's what they want, and more power to them.
Yeah.
And MK9 and MKX were very much not that. In fact, MKX, one of the things with MKX was that MKX had some rather disgusting tech once you got used to it.
Yep, I also watched the freaking the Ermac video by Ketchup and Mustard.
Yeah. I remember trying to learn Jason, and like Jason's a lot of fun in that game, but I kind of tuned out around the time they started getting into sprint combos because I just could not get that input down to save my life. Same way I can never get down the fucking FADC, because it's pretty well the FADC, but for Mortal Kombat. Like even down to the input being dash and then press a button.
Yeah, I think I learned how to do sprint combos in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, maybe I should sit down and learn it.
I mean, you don't have to, and the difference is like you focus more on neutral, and I focus more on combos and like figuring out my own shit. So,
True.
like usually when I watch combo videos, I don't watch combo videos because I wanna freaking replicate that combo. I watch combo videos because I wanna discover new mechanics that I haven't yet.
See what's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that kind of veered off into a fighting game talk, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if Chris is gonna be in KOF 15.
Probably. No. Chris is not in KOF 15, but freaking Mizuchi is.
Nah. Okay, so the fact that they've brought back Chris and Yashiro and Shermie, that means they have to be planning on bringing back Geese and maybe even the American sports team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not Geese, Rugal.
Yeah.
I feel like Rugal has to be. I think the bigger question with Rugal is, will Rugal be in the game at launch or will Rugal be DLC? You know?
I feel like if SNK really want to be assholes, then Rugal will be like the deluxe edition pre-order exclusive.
That is true, but at the same time, that could get Latin American drug cartels coming after.
True, but they have the freaking the oil money now.
Yeah,
they can just hire freaking people to keep them free from the cartels.
Well, they don't have the oil money yet. The deal hasn't gone through yet. I don't.
Oh yeah. You're right.
But yeah. That okay. I need to bring the image up again because it's so good every time. KOF don't play. I don't think Pink has played it. Pink has seen the image yet either. I don't know if I'll be able to really Google it though. KOF. What would be the Google result that would net us this? Just KOF Rugal Brazil?
Oh, is that? Do you mean the one with the sign on the arcade cabinet?
Okay, here's one version of it, but it's not the one I've seen.
Yeah, this is not the one version I saw. So Pink, are you here? Okay, so there's a picture circulating on the internet of a King of Fighters, like I think it's 98 or 2002, I forget, I don't remember. It's a King of Fighters cabinet, and on it has a paper on the sides, freaking duct taped on, that says, "If you pick Rugal, we are going to beat you up."
Why?
Because Rugal is broken, dude.
Oh,
he's not broke. He's not broken. Well, in a fair bit of the KOF games, he isn't broken. But it's just that he's a boss character, and a lot of people get pissed at him because they assume he's broken.
Yeah.
Man, I thought for sure that at some point I would have posted it in the pictures channel, but apparently I never did. I might have put it in the Fighting Games R channel, in which case I have
maybe.
no clue how to find that.
I mean, I can check real quick. I just saw that picture you posted a while back of freaking like showing the Chips and F in a picture, and it's that guy wearing the Sasuke outfit with Naruto hair in the White House.
Right. Yes, I remember that.
I also you can tell that I'm paying attention to something else because freaking I pronounce Sasuke in Hungarian. Sasuke, he's really cool. Sakura, they're beautiful. I don't think you've posted the picture there either. Because let me see. Yeah, I'm at Marvel.
Yeah, that's pretty far back. Okay. I can't find it, but I gotta bring back this image because it's just my heart.
Yeah.
Shit, it didn't load. Okay.
Nice.
Well, let Addy say bye.
All right. I'm the one.
Not bye.
I'm the one in control of the recording now, motherfucker. We're here until I say so.